Welcome, everybody, to We Geek Podcast. Date is February 20th, 2019, episode 163. My name is Adam, and as always, joined by my good friend Logan.
Hello.
Man, how you been?
I was warm for a while, now I'm cold again.
Yeah, dude, how was your... We've been gone for a few weeks. How was your, how was your couple weeks?
It's good. It was good. It's always good to get away. It's always good to not have to work.
Yeah.
Daytona's always a blast. It's always fun.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I was just thinking to myself, like, 48 hours ago it was like 85, and now it's 35.
Oh, wow.
Like,
yeah.
It's sleeting outside. We're gonna get freezing rain overnight. I was like, God, because Sunday afternoon was just perfect. It was like 82 degrees and partly cloudy. It was fantastic. And now it's like, and freeze.
Yep, can't really complain before. But once it starts to get like 98 degrees, it's a little too much.
Yeah, once it gets too hot, you're just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, gotta be inside all times during that.
Yeah,
that
what
time
about
of year.
you? What have you been up to?
Nah, man, I've been going just head first into Octopath Traveler, enjoying the shit out of that game.
Oh, yeah?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Playing some Apex Legends. That's been fun.
Nice. I haven't gotten into that just yet.
It's fun. It's really fun. And I think you might like it too, because I know you don't like to really talk to too many people while you're playing it, but it's got some really good options to communicate. So, so you don't have to talk to anybody. You can just kind of drop a pin to where you want everyone to go, and hopefully they play along. But it's been really fun. I'm starting some new stuff at work, so I've just been super busy with that. But now we're coming around to the time where I can actually enjoy some things. So, I haven't gone to the movies. I need to go to the movies. I still need to see Glass and Lego Movie. You went and saw that, right?
I did, yeah. I saw Lego.
Lego 2. I want to go see that. I meant to go see that on Monday, but I just kind of got caught up.
Yeah, I
stuff.
really liked it. Like, I laughed my head off.
Oh, yeah.
It's meta, like it's very, very meta in a lot of places, but it works because of how well they lean into it. And I mean, it's a Lord and Miller animated movie. How can you go wrong?
Right. It has to be meta. That's what I'm signing up for. Yeah, but it's been a fun couple weeks, man. The Nintendo came out swinging with their announcements.
Yeah, they did not come to play this week.
No.
I mean, a lot of it, and I'm going to be honest, a lot of it is stuff that I'm not really concerned about, like Fire Emblem and all that. Like, most of that Direct didn't really concern me too much, because it's just not my bag. I know that a lot of people love a lot of those games, and for most people, this was a huge Direct, way more than me. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure we can all get behind their big, giant, oh, hey, by the way, we remade this piece of news.
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, they announced so much stuff in it that, like, I'm just thrilled. We'll get into it in a little bit. But, I mean, I think there was, like, at least 20 new titles that they announced or showed.
Yeah.
In it. Maybe not announced, but that we've seen. And they even dropped some, like, and you can play it now.
Yeah, I haven't gotten into, Tetris Battle Royale, which when I heard that's the thing. That's what I've been hearing. Like, a couple people at work that I know played it. They were like, and it's really good. I was like, really? Yeah. They made Battle Royale Tetris and it works? Yeah. Of course it does,
It's free,
why not?
Yeah, and I don't know exactly how it works. Well, it's free if you have the Nintendo plan. But, yeah, I mean, I played a little bit of it, and I'm not sure exactly how it works. I think you basically just play Tetris. And the more Tetris that you get, so the more rows that you get, it slams it on other people's. And I don't know exactly how it chooses the people or how you're chosen. I'm not really sure. So I got to figure that out. But I just basically played Tetris, and me and my friend and her kids. And her kid actually got the best score out of all of us. I'm like, holy cow, man. He's never played it before. I'm like, you are good. But yeah, no, it's been fun, man. I love the Switch. Oh man, there's so many fun games that are coming out for that I'm just really looking forward to. And like I said, man, the Octopath Traveler, the demo's on the store. It's free. I would highly recommend checking it out to see if it's your cup of tea.
I did
I
that.
like,
Yeah, that was one I did download.
yeah,
I did download that demo. I just haven't gotten into it yet.
yeah. I started out with the writer. I forget his name. I should know this. It's like when I pick up a new comic. I can tell you everything about the comic, but the people, their names.
Right.
Yeah, I'm lost. Cyrus, I think, is the one, and he's the scholar. So, he's kind of like I don't know. He's really good with all the different elementals, and he's got some awesome where like he's got a move where you do a spell or whatever, and it's super low SP, and it shows exactly the how how many kill points the bad guy has, which normally you wouldn't have that. Little things like that I think are pretty cool. So anyway, I've been playing a ton of that. Loving it. And yeah, no, I don't know, just playing a bunch of my Switch and Spider-Man.
Nice.
Been going through that. I haven't played too much of it though. Like I said, if I've had time, I've just kind of jumped into Octopath right now. But I don't want to spread it too thin.
That's fair.
But yeah, man. But yeah, there's been some stuff since we've been gone. We could talk about have you seen Elimination Chamber?
I did. Yeah. Yeah. Watched that yesterday.
Yes. So we could talk about that. I liked it.
It's it was a thing.
Oh, you didn't like it?
There was some good and some bad. Actually, there was some. It was really weird because it was like there was some really good and everything else was just kind of I guess. So it wasn't like good and bad. It was just kind of like the good was really good and everything else was just kind of like, okay, that happened.
I thought it was too short.
It did fit, yeah, which is an odd complaint to have, but I kind of agree. Like they could have. I would have liked to have seen them switch the Corbin Strowman match with the cruiserweight title match.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm so done. I hate that they're burying Strowman and they're putting him in these matches with these guys.
I hate that he's still fighting Corbin.
About.
Like, I mean, this is done. This has been done for
We've
months.
seen the 3MB. Like, we don't. This is just annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's dumb at this point. They just thrown these guys together to bury Strowman. That's really all they've done.
Because I have nothing else to do with them.
I couldn't be less excited about Brock and Seth. I think we all know. I'm pretty sure Seth is going to go over, and that's great. That's going to give it away from Brock. But I could care less about that. That's not even a feud in my eyes.
Yeah, well, we all thought that about Roman at last year's WrestleMania, and that didn't happen. So
yeah. I mean, I just I'm just at the point where I don't care.
Yeah.
If he gets it or not, I don't really care at this point. And Kofi and Daniel stole the show.
Kofi.
Right.
I would have killed for them to have pulled the trigger. Just and have Daniel take it back at Fastlane. I don't care. But God, if Kofi had won that match, that place would have exploded.
I think they're waiting until Mania to do it. I think they would be so dumb if they don't set him and Bryan up for Mania have him win it there at the grandest stage of them all.
Because it's his time, and I mean we saw on SmackDown last week. Because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen this week's SmackDown, but we saw last week with Kofi in the Gauntlet match, where you were reminded that wait a minute, he's a legit talent.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a real push behind him for a while. And you saw that, and like the crowd was ridiculously hot. And then they carried that to the Elimination Chamber, and he showed that same fire. When the bit with Styles on SmackDown was great, with AJ just trying to be like, you don't have to do this, you don't have to prove this, and Kofi's just like, screw you, fight me. I was like, hell yes. And then doing that, getting in Bryan's face and being like, come on, hit me again.
Yeah.
It's like, hell yeah. Where has this Kofi been for, years?
Yes. Absolutely.
It's time. Yeah. Give him the title. I like what they've been doing with Daniel, and I loved that to me was like I said, when it was good, it was really good, because you had a good guy and a bad guy. When's the last time that the crowd was booing the bad guy and cheering the good guy with no sense of irony whatsoever? They weren't like, oh, we're booing the bad guy because, whatever. But no, they were like, no, we want Kofi to win. We don't want Daniel to win.
Yeah, I mean, that was some of the best wrestling we've seen in a year. Like, the last part of that match where it was just them two.
Yeah.
They told a story, and it was, Kofi just shouting like it's my time, and it is like it's so good.
And and Daniel doing the heel work of getting right back in his face and going, "You don't belong here."
Right.
I was like, "Oh my god, a bad guy being a bad guy!" Like this is new. We haven't seen this in forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, man, it's long overdue. So I'm excited for that. I think that'll come at Mania, which is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's been a busy week. We got a ton of news to talk about. Let's jump into the movies. What do the movies look like over the last week?
Box office this week was meh.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look like a debut weekend. It doesn't look like a Valentine's Day weekend.
Right.
It was not a tremendously great weekend, all things considered. Alita obviously was first, and I'm doing 4-day totals because I really couldn't be bothered to separate everything out.
Yeah.
I couldn't because it's like it's this, but it's really this. I'm like, we're just gonna do these. We're just gonna do these numbers.
Right.
Alita at 43 million. I recommend people go see it.
Really?
I did. I got a chance to see it this weekend. It's really good. It's genuinely good. Like, I was surprised. I was not, when I, watching the previews and everything, I was like, I'm not excited for this, whatever. And then the reviews started coming out, and some of them, you look at the ones that are negative, and I can understand why. But by the same token, the ones that are positive are almost saying exactly the same things, just in a positive way. Because the ones that are negative seem to be like, it's trying to be, this big thing, and it doesn't engage people, and it doesn't tell the backstory of everything. And the positive reviews are saying it doesn't overburden you with all of the backstory and exposition, and I agree with them. You don't get the history of how the world got to this point, in whatever year it's at, like 25, 50 something.
Right.
It doesn't, you don't need to know the geopolitical reasons that the world fell apart. You just need to know the world fell apart.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. And it's a good story. I liked it. I did. I really enjoyed it.
Okay. Yeah, it's been completely off my radar, so maybe
it's worth checking out.
I've definitely seen Lego first.
Yes, I agree. Go see do Lego and then do Alita for sure.
And the great thing is now is I have a day off during the week.
Oh, there you go.
People are working, so I can go knock this stuff out. And I think I can see early shows as long as they're early enough that I'm out by like 1.
Yeah.
I just think if something's on like 10:30 or something like that, I think I can make it.
There you go.
But yeah, I think that's when we start doing now, and we're getting closer and closer to the Captain Marvel.
Man, How to Train Your Dragon is this week. Captain Marvel is in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
I'm excited.
Like it's great, and I'm super hyped for it, and I'm also not, because oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's but I am. I'm excited. I have seen a handful of articles where people are saying, "Oh, it's not going to be that huge," and blah blah blah. I'm thinking, yeah, and how? I'm sure you guys said the same thing about Black Panther, didn't you?
Right.
I think Captain Marvel is going to draw giant numbers. Simply because Captain Marvel is. Imagine if because when Wonder Woman came out, and a crap ton of people went to see it. And then it got really great press and great word of mouth, and people kept going to see it. And everybody was apprehensive at first because, hey, it's DC. Of course they were. Marvel has just been knocking it consistently out of the park. And you look at the same, this time last year we had Black Panther, which was kind of a superhero movie with a black lead. How is that going to work? and it just destroyed the box office.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. We've seen what a superhero film with a female lead can do with an apprehensive at best debuting crowd.
Right.
With Marvel goodwill, with that kind of hype behind it. It's gonna be it's gonna be Black Panther all over again in terms of box office numbers. I don't care what anybody else says. Some people say it's going to be whatever. I'm like, no, you guys are way underestimating this.
Right. Oh yeah. No, it looks good. Everyone I know is talking about it.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see it. I'm excited.
It's gonna be huge and it's gonna be good. I have faith that it's gonna be good.
You know what? And this is so random. I don't know. I should probably bring it up now. I'll talk about it later. But I started watching The Umbrella Academy.
I haven't gotten around to that one yet, but I have heard very good things.
Maybe we'll talk about it next week. But it's very good. So yeah, if you're listening and you were on the fence, it's in a very simple. It is basically kind of like the X-Men. The guy who writes it was like the lead singer of My Chemical Romance. It was a comic that he did.
That's right. Yeah, it was.
In the early 2000s, and it was a Dark Horse comic, and it's a story about like these people who were kids, and they had abilities, and I won't go too much into that because they go into it like the first episode. And it opens up, and this isn't a big spoiler. This happens within the first few minutes of the show, so I'll just set it up. Is that they find out that their mentor, their father figure, has died, and so it brings them kind of all together, and then brings them all back to where they grew up, and it wasn't great for all of them as children. So it's interesting to see them all come together, and you find out what their abilities are, and their relationships and their secrets and just all kind of crazy stuff. And it's fun. And the reason why I bring up the music stuff is because there's no My Chemical Romance music in it that I can tell so far that I've seen, but the music is spot on. You'll notice that immediately watching the show, is that there's just scenes where they're just playing music, and it's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, so you could tell that was, I'm sure somewhere in there he was like, we got to make sure some of these scenes, it's like, it plays good with music. So, but yeah, it's really good. I highly recommend it. It was one of those things I was surprised about. I was like, oh yeah, I heard that was coming. We talked about it before, but it was nice to be like, and that's the problem, is I was going to go see a movie that day. Nope, we just stayed in and watched that pretty much the whole day. We watched like 4 or 5 hours of it before we went to sleep, and it was really good.
Nice.
So I highly recommend it. But yeah, we'll talk about that next week. So you can get a chance to knock out a few episodes.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so sorry, back to the movies.
Yeah. Lego was second, about 27 million, give or take. A disappointing domestic haul for Lego so far.
Yeah.
It did not debut. It debuted really poorly, and that surprised me. That legitimately surprised me that people did not really show up.
Yeah,
and they're missing out. They are missing out big time.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that means. They're just, I don't know.
I don't know. I really don't. I don't know. Maybe because I know Lego Batman did not like. I know a lot of people that did not really take to Lego Batman that much.
Right.
I don't know if maybe that has something to do with it, or I really don't know. Because I mean the hype was there, the ads were there. Like I mean this movie was out there. I don't know why people aren't showing up, and they're missing out. It's really damn. I haven't laughed that hard at a movie in a long time.
Oh, nice.
It's funny as hell.
Yeah.
And the music, that damn music.
Good.
I can't get the. They decided to be again going with the meta theme of everything. They're like, hey, you know what's a really catchy song? A song that's titled "Catchy Song."
That makes sense.
And it's weird because again, it's a fine line to walk because the song literally talks about how it's the kind of song that's going to be stuck in your head.
Right.
And damn it works.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah. It's super well done. And like I said, the
Do
humor
you
in
think?
it is fantastic. I love it.
Do you think there'll be a sequel, a third one?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, there, because the first one clearly ended with like there's a distinct possibility of a second one.
Right.
The second one is more resolved.
Closure.
I mean, obviously because it's Legos, you could do whatever, you could go anywhere with it. Uh, you're literally restricted by nothing. But it's if they decided to just move on from here, it would be fine.
Yeah.
If they did a third one, there who knows how many ways there are
Did
to come at it.
Did you see the new Pokemon trailer?
No, there was a new
Going
Pokemon
for it?
trailer.
Oh yeah, it's got Lickitung.
Oh boy,
Yeah. It's got Arcanine. It's got some cool ones. I'll send it to you.
when
You
did
watch
this
it.
drop? I missed that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. At some point in the last week or so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send it to you so you can watch it whenever we take a break or what have you. But it showed some new Pokemon, and essentially that's all. They're as gross as ever.
Sure. Yeah.
You got Lickitung in there. It's just a weird one. Yeah. Oh, real fast. Well, we'll talk about the games, I guess. Some prominent YouTubers that I actually watch. Uh, the guy's name is Nick, and his channel is called Trainer Tips. One of the best YouTube channels I've ever seen. Even if you don't give a crap about Pokemon Go, the way he sets up his channel is like a travel channel. He literally travels the world, and he brings his phone. He plays Pokemon Go, and he talks to the native people. He talks to the locals, and eats their food, and he talks to them about how they play Pokemon. And maybe there's not what the scene is like there, but he'll go all over the world, right?
Nice.
And it's a beautiful channel. He does it with just the best editing skill, the best cameras. Like, it's so awesome. I love his channel. And his channel was deleted. Same with
Why?
Mystic7, who, I mean, these guys have millions of followers on YouTube, subscribers. And it's this new thing, that's been going around. I guess YouTube is really cracking down on children channels that are aimed at children, but might have like sexual themes or drug use or stuff like that. And they took down his channel simply because in his title he had like, I think it said like CP or something like that, which is I don't know the exact, yeah, CP. It stands for combat point, right?
Okay.
So in the game Pokemon Go, it stands for combat point. So with context, if you don't know what CP stands for, it could also be a hashtag for child.
Oh,
Exactly.
man, are you kidding me?
Right. And so it was flagged by a robot apparently, and because of it's a channel aimed, it's Pokemon Go, so it's children, it's family friendly.
Right.
They immediately take it down, and so there's no man. It's a machine that does it. There's no person behind there going, okay, we need, with common sense, going, this guy has millions of followers. It's not a weird channel with a bunch of pedophiles and stuff on it, because those are out there, and there's a reason Google is cracking down on this stuff, for obvious reasons, and it should be in place.
Yeah, well, look how well that's worked out for Tumblr so far.
Right. And it's funny because his new video, he talks about that. He's like, this is crazy, this happened to me. But also what's even crazier is what's happening with children. And like there's a whole rabbit hole there. That what's his face? Philip DeFranco, the guy who does all the stuff on YouTube. It's a serious problem now. Like, I didn't realize how bad it was. But it's huge. So, they got their channels back, of course, and but it uncovered a really like sick thing going on in the YouTube community, I guess. I guess it kind of like put a flashlight where everyone was like, wait, why'd they get their channels deleted? Oh, that's disgusting. There's a whole group of these people that are, I don't know. But anyway, sorry, that was a weird left turn with the Pokemon stuff. But anyway.
Pokemon good, pedophiles bad. Like,
yeah. Man, I love that channel. I'm getting back in Pokemon Go too. I went for a few hours the other day. I stopped for a little bit because my phone, I need a new phone.
Yeah.
Literally can't do it on the phone I have right now. So I've been like craving to go out and catch Pokemon. But I can't. So my exercise is taking a hit. Man, I'm pathetic. I need Pokemon Go to get out there, get motivated.
Hey, whatever gets you going, you know.
Yeah, yeah. But it's a whole list of things. My phone dies, then if I have no music while I'm doing it, then it's a disaster trying to exercise without music, without anything to listen to. It's bad. But anyway, I can't even go into the store anymore to grocery shop and listen to podcasts like I used to because my phone literally will die within minutes if it's not charged. So I gotta get a new phone soon. I'm thinking this week. But I don't know. Been putting it off. Just been so freaking busy.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the news.
Yeah, where were we? Isn't It Romantic was third, about 23 million. And here's the thing. That's a movie that I'm gonna wind up making myself go see. I'm not a Rebel Wilson fan. I'm not a fan of movies that are like, hey, we're gonna, crap on an entire genre. But this one looks like it's actually kind of cleverly done.
I don't think I've ever seen a trailer for this.
It's basically what happens is like Rebel Wilson's character hates romantic comedies and points out all of the things that are legitimately wrong with romantic comedies.
Mm-hmm.
And then something happens and she falls and hits her head or whatever, and when she wakes up, she's in a romantic comedy.
Oh, okay.
But she's still herself. So as she's in this romantic comedy, she's pointing out all of these things that are wrong with the world that she's in.
That's a funny premise.
And to me, the funniest part of the trailer is like I think it's like Chris Hemsworth that like falls for her or something. Plays the guy that falls for her.
Mm-hmm.
And even she's just kind of like, why is this happening? This doesn't make any sense. What is going on here? And then like it shows her like waking up in bed and he's coming out of the bathroom with like the towel around his waist and he's like, "Good morning, darling." And she's like, "Wait a minute, we didn't even do anything. Like we got here and then I just woke up." And then like he goes over and he climbs back on the bed, and then it cuts to a scene where she wakes up and he's walking out of the bathroom with a towel around his waist and goes, "Good morning, darling." And she's like, "Wait a minute, what the hell just happened?" And it's like, oh, it's PG-13 romantic comedy, of course. But I don't know, like it looks smart.
That's a fun premise.
It's a trailer to check out just to look at like, oh, this actually looks like it may be cleverly done.
Right.
So I don't know. I probably will actually see this at some point.
Right.
Unlike I Feel Pretty, which tried to take a stab at something similar, and failed and was just garbage. Sorry, they can't all be winners. What else do we have this week? What Men Want did another 12 million and change, which was a remake that I never would have seen coming.
Yeah.
But, hey, more power to him.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard anything about it. I don't know how good it is. Like I'm not a tomato meter guy. I never check any of that. So I have no idea what anything sits at.
Yeah.
And I usually don't put too much stock in them anyway, which is why I don't check.
Right.
And the Happy Death Day sequel did about 11 million. Which I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like the first one was enough. Like it was a standalone and that should have just been that.
Yeah.
See, I don't know how I feel about a sequel.
Never saw the first one, but you said it was great.
I thoroughly enjoyed the first one. If you haven't, it's a horror it's a horror version of Groundhog Day.
Okay.
With a little bit of the kind of necessary humor stuck into it.
Okay.
Because the whole point is that she keeps dying until she doesn't, basically.
Right.
And there's the point of, she has to keep trying to figure out what's happening, and in order to do that, she gets to a point and then dies, and goes through the day again, and gets to a different point and dies. And it's played comedically. In a way, it's not. It takes the horror out of it because she knows what's coming,
right?
And it leans into that. It's really well done, and I highly recommend it. And like I said, I don't know if a sequel was the best idea, but it's Blumhouse.
Right.
They made they made a cheap horror movie that made a lot of money. They're gonna
Right.
make a sequel.
Yeah.
And I don't know, when all is said and done, this one will probably make some money too. So,
Yeah.
more power to him, I guess.
Yeah. That's true.
But this week coming out, of course, the big one is How to Train Your Dragon 3.
Uh-huh.
I am super pumped. I am crazy excited. Like, I cannot wait for this. Because I love these movies. I never watched any of the like Netflix stuff because they had like an animated series or something. Never like that wasn't my thing. Because I think that was definitely geared more towards kids.
Yeah, my friend's kid, they were watching it one day, and I was like, "Is this the Dragon movie?" They're like, "No, it's a TV show, silly." Just kidding. They didn't say it that rudely, but they corrected me real fast.
Yeah.
There's a ton of things they watch where I'm like, "Is that the movie?" They're like, "No, it's a TV show."
Yeah.
Like Captain Underpants and
Boss Baby was another
Boss
one.
Baby, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean that's the thing. Like the shows are definitely like very targeted towards kids.
Right.
And that's cool, more power to them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I mean the movies are kids movies technically, but not entirely,
Yes.
Especially the second one. The second one is intense.
Right. No question. No, I never saw that one.
Oh, you should. It's
saw
good.
The first one.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And so I am super stoked for this one because it is they did confirm it is the last one. It's the end of this story.
Oh, that's good.
And it's every time I see the trailer, I just get more and more excited because it just looks so badass.
Right. Did you see that they announced that the Bumblebee movie is an official reboot of the Transformers?
Hallelujah.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that means they're not tied to any of the other previous films, which means they can tell like a whole new story with them in the 80s with the Optimus and all of them.
Great. Do it. And keep the people involved.
Keep John Cena in there, But yeah, no, just keep going with that story. Maybe keep the same characters. I get if you want to switch out some of them, that's fine. But let's move forward from this. Keep it in the 80s. Keep it's fun.
Yeah.
It's been real fun.
Yeah, Bumblebee was really good. It was really enjoyable. And the I don't remember her name, but the woman who wrote it, the reason that they brought her on was because she used to write language for AI.
Oh.
So she basically wrote
That's cool.
For artificial intelligence to communicate with itself.
That's funny.
So they were like, "Hey, we need, we need somebody who can tell us how autonomous computerized creatures would interact with each other and with other things." So
yes.
So exactly. They got her. And she is one of the writers attached to one of the Kingkiller Chronicle projects. I don't remember if it's the show or the movie, but she's involved with. I think it's the movie. I think she's involved with the film.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, keep it going. That was a good one. I hope they see the reaction that one got, and they're like, let's just keep doing it like this. Let's make them a little bit smaller. There's not a bunch of robots going on. Let's keep it a little bit more personal. Let's have it be fun.
Yeah.
Do different designs. That's cool. That's fine. That's okay. Get your toys out there, but these just had way more heart in them, and I just hope they keep going with that, and they realize that's what people want.
Yeah, don't look at the box office numbers compared to the other ones, because the other ones made, ridiculous money. This one, not so much, but the audience reception was better.
It's going to get people it's going to last longer.
Yes.
In the long run. You're going to get people more interested in it. If you put out a show or whatever, you're going to get people way more interested in it and talking good about it, not bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Some new releases. We talked about How to Train Your Dragon. Fighting with Your Family comes out. I want to see that.
Yeah, it gets technically it's an expanded release, but I mean it's one of those things where it was like it came out in select markets and now it's the wide release this week. Right. That's still gonna mess me up though, seeing like all these people who are playing other people who
Mm-hmm.
still, this being like 10 years ago, still look like the people they were back then and could have played
Yeah.
themselves. But we got
I'm
all
sure
these different people, except The Rock, who
The
plays
Rock
The
and
Rock.
The Miz, I think, is officially in it.
Oh, is he? Is he like? Though they're probably the only two playing themselves.
I think I saw him in one of the trailers. Yeah, they look like they were lookalikes for like Sasha and Charlotte and like Alexa and them.
The Bellas.
The Bellas, yeah. So that'll be interesting to watch and be like, hey, I think that's who that's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's cool. And run the race.
Run the race, which I totally forgot was a thing. Except for every time I turn the corner at work and see the big cardboard, little standee thing about it. It's a Christian football movie produced by Tim Tebow and his brother.
Okay, cool.
So that's a hard pass from me.
There's an audience for it.
There is, and it, especially around here, man, it will make money. It's God in football. Like, I mean, there's a crowd for that. There is, and it's gonna be, it's gonna be that kind of inspirational movie of, here's this guy who plays football and he's tested and he prays and everything works out. The end.
Right.
I mean, that is the movie, but it's, whatever. I mean, you can look at so many other movies and say, well, they follow this, this, and this, and you go, well, yeah, but it was interesting how they got there.
Right.
This will not be interesting, but hey, if people want to go enjoy it, go enjoy it. This is your thing. Right. This is very much not my thing.
Right, exactly. But yeah, so those are new releases. We got a ton of movie news this week.
Yeah, we got some and some big movie news too.
Yes.
We got the first trailer for Frozen 2, which did not look like I expected it to look.
Yes.
This is a very different tone. This was not, hey, look, that snowman's funny. This is, hey, look, Elsa's fighting the ocean. Like,
yeah, it was cool.
It's different. Like, I'm excited
she's
for
like
it.
Testing her powers, and like you notice, like she's not wearing a dress.
No, she's in.
It's like part of her.
It's she's almost in kind of like a pantsuit.
Yeah, it's like her superhero costume essentially.
Yeah, more or less. It's practical. She went with practical over like, well, I'm the queen and this and that. It's just more like, no,
it's
all
like,
of this.
I think it's like part of her. Like it's like she just froze stuff over her. Like it's weird how it looks if you zoom up close or whatever. I had someone point it out and I was like, oh, I didn't notice that. And I looked at it and I was like, oh yeah, that's like her.
Then let's hope she doesn't thaw. Otherwise, this is not going to be a Disney movie for very long.
Right, but I thought I was like, that's cool. That would make sense. She just put a Frozen suddenly. She has an outfit on, but yeah, it looked cool. It looked like it was like scales almost. It looked really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I really liked it. I love that trailer. Can't wait to see it. Looks good. Looks fun.
But they have a whole herd of reindeer now, so
Yeah. Yeah, it looked cool. I liked how they did it. It was just flashes of the movie where you're like, "Whoa, how do they get this scene? Wait, where are they in this scene?" And like there was nothing explained, and I love that.
Yeah,
that's how you do a trailer. That gets me excited. I'm gonna go see it anyway. But I'm like, wait, what? How did they get all this? So I thought it was cool. This next one. What did you think of the Aladdin trailer?
You know what? His head's too big.
That's what everyone keeps saying.
That's my problem. That's my only problem. Like I knew seeing the Will Smith gene. Like everything else in the trailer was great. I'm like, okay, cool. This looks like Aladdin ought to look.
Right.
I'm down for that. I'm here for that. And again, same thing. I'm gonna go see it anyway. But the more I kept looking, I was like, there is something off, and I don't. And I couldn't for the longest time. I couldn't think of what. And the more I watched it, I was like, Will Smith's head is too big.
Right.
It doesn't look right.
Right. Yeah, no, he doesn't look right. I think I'm still gonna enjoy it, of course, but yeah, it does not look right.
It's one of those things that like was a weird transition from because in animation, the sky's the limit. With live action, there are, even now with everything they can do with CGI and whatnot, you still there you can't just
I
kind of
think
go
they made him look
crazy
too
with it.
human.
I kind of agree.
Yeah,
I kind of agree with that.
it should have looked way more like it did the animated, but like 3D and in front of you in like a spirit almost.
Yeah.
Kind of like how they did Casper, I guess, but like it should have looked way more like that, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
especially with something, I mean, this is a genie is a mythological kind of creature. So
right.
it didn't have to look like a person.
Yeah, exactly. And it didn't have to be like I'm glad Will Smith is voicing it or whatnot, but it's like they didn't have I think they were too concerned about like we need to make sure he looks exactly like Will Smith and that people know that that's Will Smith instead of it's like the genie kind of looked like Robin Williams, I guess, but like it was just the genie, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
wasn't just like the Robin Williams in blue. It had little things. His face had little things to make it look like him, but it was still his own character. And I think they went way too hard on like, let's make him look like Will Smith.
Yeah, I
Um,
I I agree. It's
yeah, I'm still
although
excited though. I have the music, all that good stuff. I'm so pumped for it.
yeah. Yeah. And I mean
But
we've seen that he won't always be the genie. Like he'll be I kind of like that. I like how they explain like, oh no, he has a disguise. He has like a
mhm,
human persona kind of
right,
look. That was what we saw, and that was when everybody freaked out, and he had to be
right.
like, "No, no, guys, I'm blue. Trust me."
And that's where they should have kept it like, okay, he's human in that form, and then when he becomes the genie or whatnot, it's more of like a spirit or something, like the way it was in the movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, um, but that was that. I also saw on YouTube Will Smith posted like let me explain why I didn't join the Matrix. And like he explains he's like these guys come to me and he's like granted they did maybe one film before this and it was an indie film. And they were like, yo, okay, so one scene, we got you up in the air, and we're going to have these cameras to make it look like you're frozen in the air, and everyone's going to think it's cool. And the world isn't the world. And he was like, I was like, nah, pass. He was like, I did everybody a favor because I think I would have ruined the movie. He goes, I think he did a great job. And I don't know. It was interesting. Go check out Will Smith's video of why he turned on the Matrix. It's kind of funny. Him explaining him sitting in a room, going over this. So I don't know. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. I kind of have to agree with him. I
Yeah.
just
I forgot who he said was going to play. Was it Morpheus? Yeah. Because they were going to reverse it. So because they had a white actor play Neo, they wanted a African American to play Morpheus, and they vice versa. So they were going to switch it, and I forget who the actor they were going to play as Morpheus, but he wouldn't have fit.
Yeah,
I forget who it was, but it just didn't. I was like, nah.
Nah,
Yeah.
and it all worked out in the end. So
It did. It did. It definitely did. And that's basically what he was saying. He's like, it all worked out in the end. He's like, I did Bad Boys 2 for y'all. Relax. It's kind of funny. He took it with stride, obviously. But it was cool that he addressed it. I think it's cool that some of these actor guys they're getting into YouTube, like him and Jack Black.
I haven't seen Jack Black's YouTube channel yet, but I want to.
It's fantastic.
Is it good?
It took him months to even play a game. He's like, guys, we're gonna play a video game on this video game channel this week, and he played like some Fortnite. But a lot of his content was like, hey, me and my son went to a pinball store, and his son's like the producer. It's like him and his son's channel. He lets his son do all the editing and everything. And his son will put like funny little edits in the video and stuff like that. It's really cool. That's how you do it. Like, and it's very no budget. And it's probably one of the best YouTube channels out there for like a celebrity now has a YouTube channel.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's really fun. It's cute. It was funny. I saw a whole thing of like, never mind. I won't go into it. But anyway, go check it out. It's Jack Black's video game channel. I saw there's a Breaking Bad movie that's coming out. It's gonna be on. Be on Netflix and then AMC.
Yeah, because they they had kind of talked a while back about like, oh, there's this film that's being made out in like New Mexico or wherever, and it's it's Project whatever, codename whatever it was, And it's about this guy who escapes his captors, and like now he's kind of trying to go back to living a normal life, and everybody's like, oh, so they're making a Breaking Bad sequel,
right?
And like nobody said anything, so so it was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's definitely a yes. And we've kind of found out that, I don't think anybody's like officially confirmed that that's what this movie is.
Right.
But they've talked about like this movie will actually premiere on Netflix and then will be on AMC. And I thought, well, okay, that's interesting and different.
Right.
Because I mean, Netflix, yeah, the show was on AMC, but it's another one of those things where like because of Netflix, it got huge.
Right.
And then people flocked to AMC because, that was how that worked. As you can tell by the fact that AMC's ratings have tanked.
Yeah.
So,
I want to catch up with The Walking Dead. They're getting into some territory now where, like, it was where I checked it out with the comics.
Yeah.
So, they're getting into territory now that I don't know about. And so I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Now we're in territory that I'm just kind of clueless about. So I definitely have some catching up to do.
Yeah. Did I tell you about how much I hated the trailer that I kept seeing for this season?
No. What was the trailer?
There was it was one of those. It wasn't really a trailer, but it was more like a, and so, like, because it was during, like, the movie pre-shows when I was cleaning theaters. Okay. So it was one of those things of, like, a couple people from the cast and a couple people from the crew will talk about, and in this season we set up this, and, this happens, and how does the group deal with this, or, whatever. And like a minute into that little thing is like, and the group doesn't really know, how they're going to handle these guys because of course they took out this particular character and they don't know what to do. And I was like, I am 3 seasons behind. This was a giant spoiler. Screw all of you.
But you can't, that's, you're 3 seasons behind, man. You can't be mad at that.
I am because
that's 3 seasons, dude.
But here's the thing though.
Not with The Walking Dead. You can't be upset about that.
I am because everything else they didn't have to name the character. They could have said because they've seen this group do things that they didn't think was possible. Like that's all that takes. One tweak of the line.
But 3 years though?
Yes, because just because I'm mad. Like I'm mad for the sake of being mad. I
guess I've just talked to people where I'm like, wait, can I spoil this? That like, let me think of something that was like 3 years ago in a movie, like in a Marvel movie. Like, can I spoil that so and so died? I don't know who died like 3 years ago in a Marvel movie.
I don't know. I don't remember what Marvel movies came out 3 years ago specifically.
Trying to think of a spoiler, but that's kind of a long time. If it was, I get 1 season, but like 3, that's kind of long.
Well, but here's the thing though. I don't remember, like, I don't know when this character died though. So I don't know if it was a spoiler from 3 years ago or just from last season. I just know where I'm at. Like, I am aware. Here's what I know. I am aware of.
I just think if you cared, you would have seen it by now. I don't think you care anymore, honestly.
That's true, but now I definitely don't care.
Right. I hear you. There should be a ways to go about this where you're not spoiling major characters' deaths.
Right, and that's I am gonna look up because what I think it would justify my anger if it was more
like if someone told you someone in the Force Awakens is killed at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Now, would you, if you heard someone saying that on the street, would you be like, "Yo, why you gotta spoil things?"
No, because no. But if somebody had told me something about The Last Jedi right now,
true,
I might still be a little ticked. Maybe.
And there's way more investment with Walking Dead. With those, it's like it's an hour and a half or 2 hours of your time.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know the last major spoiler for that show is major news that was released on like every news channel was that Rick was leaving the show.
Right.
That's the last bit of spoilers that I know for the show. So this death you're talking about, I don't know if it happens before that or not.
That's what I'm looking for.
I kind of want you to say it, but obviously you don't want to say it.
Yeah. I think
did it say how they died?
I think this is something that happened last season.
Did it say how they died? Did it
No,
say,
it
like...
just said that the villain element that they're facing in this season, took this character out. And I was like, well, that sucks.
Oh.
I'm trying to see like exactly when. And I think
then maybe it's sooner than 3 years, dude, because I saw it 3 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's last season.
Yeah, because 3 years ago was like before Negan.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like the last thing I saw was when Negan hacked off the two that everybody
that's
expected.
what I thought you were talking about. That or before that.
No.
Like if you said Herschel died, I'm like, come on, that's a long time ago,
I think this was from last season.
Okay,
this was from last season.
I don't know what you're talking about then.
Okay, see,
so you're more. I think I'm on your side.
this one I'm mad about because like this was a character that I liked, but this makes me mad because this was just last season. That sucks.
Cause see, in the comics, when it's the Whisperers, right? We're talking about.
Yeah.
The Whisperers, they take out a lot of people immediately.
Right, but a lot of those characters aren't. This is where I don't know. Like, I know some of the characters that are still around, but not all of them.
There's two characters that I'm specifically afraid that they're gonna kill, that I don't want them to kill. I hope it's one of those things where they kill other people instead, where it's like these people lived past the Whisperer when they first were introduced to them. That's what I hope it is. I hope they switch up because who dies in the comics, they're very much in the show, and I hope that they switch it up so it's not those 2 or 3 characters, because there's like 2 or 3 of them and it sucks because they're killed off panel. Like it's like a big surprise. It's like boom, they're here's their heads.
Yeah.
And I hope it's not those characters because I really like those characters on the show. So we're like talking in circles, but I don't want to spoil.
No, that's what we're trying to do. Yeah, this happens like the next to last episode of the season.
Oh, well then, yeah, that's stupid.
So yeah, now I'm mad.
So anyone going to the movie theater, it would have been spoiled for them. Yeah,
exactly.
No,
if you
last season stuff.
That was what really bugged me. Was like it wasn't caught up with.
I thought you were like, well, they killed Herschel or something. Like, you can't be too mad about that.
No, this wasn't that. This was like. Yeah. Oh, no, I stand corrected because we're not actually talking about last season. We're talking about the first half of this season.
Oh, yeah, because there was a big one last season that I know about.
Yeah.
That was a huge star on it, or one of the main characters. And, yeah, so whoever you're talking about, I have no idea.
Okay, let me explain why this really makes me mad now. Because, and this should make everybody mad. If you were not caught up with this... Okay, so the episode that this happened in was the, I guess what looks like the mid-season finale.
Yeah, they usually do like a big death during those.
Yes, that's exactly what happened, which aired on November 25th, okay? The trailer, this whatever little ad, whatever this thing was, aired before Aquaman.
Wow.
Okay? So now I'm super pissed, because this is like, what are we, 3 weeks, 4 weeks removed? Like, if you didn't see it when it happened,
that's crazy.
You were screwed. Yeah, now my anger is justified on behalf of everybody else.
You should tell the theater has no control over that, do they? Can they pull that?
No, they send us the thing and we play it.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's nuts. A few weeks after it airs.
Yeah, this crazy. Was like a month later. If you're sitting there, they're like, "Oh yeah," because
What if enough people complained? Like,
I don't know. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it.
Like, wouldn't that be crazy if your company sent you stills, and it was like, "We're gonna spoil Aquaman, the movie Aquaman, before every other movie we play here."
Yeah.
Well, what would your theater do? Well, we gotta do it. We gotta play them. The corporate's doing it.
They pay to advertise, and this is what they send to advertise.
Isn't that crazy?
Okay. Hey, look,
that would be a funny experiment. If they it's like a funny show where they put hidden cameras everywhere and they just spoil every movie that's out there right now, and they're like, we can't turn it off. There's no way to do that. This is from corporate.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, why are you telling me all these spoilers? They tell you everyone who's dead in the next Avengers movie. They tell you spoilers for stuff that's not come out yet. And the staff is just like, we can't stop it. There's no way to stop it. It's literally impossible because it's from corporate.
God, could you?
Wouldn't that be great?
Jesus, could you imagine?
That'd be a funny skit. But it was all fake spoilers, of course. You don't really want to ruin. But like the people would lose their minds.
Yeah. Yeah, they would. But you would almost have to do it like before, because the weird thing is you would have to have, they would have to be done by people who knew what the real things were, so they could convincingly do the things that weren't real.
Right, like right. Well, I mean, no, maybe just do it again. It'd be a funny spoof because that's how like it'd be a funny SNL skit because that's how close we are. And that's how close it is to it, that if it was just like spoiling and everything has not come out yet, so really people wouldn't know the spoilers. But like if it was just like you see a trailer for a movie before it and like they just kind of spoil stuff and you're like, I didn't want to see that. Like that would make a funny SNL skit if like the stuff before the movies just straight up ruin all the future movies. And the staff's like, we can't change it.
Yeah.
AMC has told us that we're not allowed to change this. and that would be hilarious. Sorry, I'm laughing at my dumb. I just think that would be great.
But yeah, now that makes me extra mad for people who went in early and were sitting there and were like, oh, they're talking about next season yet. Okay, like I still have like 2 episodes to watch. Wait a minute, they killed that character?
They killed... again, I haven't seen it, but if they were like, they killed Maggie, Daryl, like, they start listing all these names, like, what's happening?
See, you could do that. Here's the thing. You could do that with The Walking Dead because people would believe it.
Right, yeah, they would. It'd be so good. Oh, boy. But anyway, where were we? So there's some Dune news.
Yeah, Jason Momoa is in talks to join this ridiculously stacked cast.
Yeah.
He's
better and better.
Yeah, right. He's rumored or hopefully going to be playing Duncan Idaho, who was like the Master at Arms kind of character. So
Duncan Idaho.
Oh, it's such a weird name.
Such a dumb name.
It is, but you know, if they cast Jason Momoa, I encourage you, go say that to his face.
Right. Duncan Idaho. It just sounds like oh yeah, that's the company that makes the potatoes.
Right. Or just, you know, oh, that's that alt country band, you know.
Right, exactly.
That plays on Thursday nights.
Bluegrass band, right?
Yeah.
That's that bluegrass band.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
Exactly. Oh boy. All right. Anyway, Aquaman 2 development confirmed.
Yeah, this and the next piece of news are kind of filed into the duh category. Like
it is, you know, but here's the thing though. You know, I think most people are like, well, okay, we just heard Ben Affleck's out. Apparently, Armie Hammer, what's his name, is supposedly rumored to be in.
Yes, and then reports have come out that no, he's not actually in talks for it.
Well, someone is. So they're replacing him with somebody who knows.
Oh yeah, but I mean that was the big rumor, was like it's Armie Hammer, and he came out and was like, no, I'm not. What was it he said? It was something like, I'm not. They're not talking to me about it. But if they're listening, you know.
Right,
it's kind of one of those things of like, nobody's talking to me about the job, but I'm not saying no.
Right. So yeah, exactly. Who knows? It could be Eddie Murphy, for all we know at this point. But they're gonna do a Batman movie.
Oh yeah, because they've already announced it's gonna be a thing.
Everyone's kind of waiting for what's the phrase? The shoe to drop. Like, is, you know, who's gonna play Superman next? When does this turn into that cinematic universe is over with, or are we just going to keep it going, which I think they should?
No.
And the actors that want to stay and that are doing great do stay, and that we just pretend when they recast it that it's the same character.
I think that's what they're gonna do, but they're not gonna make a big deal out of coming to a Justice League 2. They're gonna keep making these movies.
And that's exactly what they did with Marvel, but no major character left except for maybe Bruce Banner.
Which
they just pretended that it was that's him.
Right, they recast it and they recast it twice and nobody noticed.
Exactly, yeah. And so, you know, they did some other ones.
They recast Rhodey and they actually acknowledged it, remember that?
Right. Yes.
That to me was great when Don
That's so
Cheadle
cute.
shows up in Iron Man 2
Mhm.
and Tony goes to say something and Don looks at him and goes, "It's me. I'm here. Get over it."
Right.
And
Right.
it's just
Right.
or it's was it? It's me. I'm here. Let's move on. And
Right.
like that's it.
Exactly.
That's them addressing that
Right.
and therein endeth the lesson. So
Yeah, and that's how you do it. I don't think they should scrap this whole DC universe. I actually watched Justice League the other day.
oh god, why?
It wasn't as bad. So it was the first time. I had a fun time watching it.
It's here's the thing. There are some great ideas in Justice League.
But let me explain. I
Okay.
started with Superman coming back to life.
Okay.
I enjoyed it all the way through. I know that sounds terrible. I watched the last half.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And it was fun.
Yeah, the not Zack Snyder part of the movie. Gee, there's a surprise.
No, I don't know why it was on HBO or something. I turned it on at that point in time. I was like, it's pretty fun. They did the whole lasso bit with Aquaman and the Flash. Was just just hilarious. Like, you don't tell anybody about this. And I don't know what he said after blah blah blah. And then the whole Pet Cemetery joke. Like, I was like, this is fun. I want to see these guys make more movies.
Because the humor has always worked. The best parts of Wonder Woman were them challenging things in a way that were funny. When she and Steve Trevor are in that boat and she's woke and he's not. It's awkward. It's hilariously awkward.
Right. Yeah, and it's great. And after watching it, I was like, man, I want to, I want them to do better. Obviously, I want a really good Justice League movie, and I thought, man, this is a shame that they did all of this and it's all kind of falling apart. But Aquaman did great. It got great reviews. I have a feeling, and same with Wonder Woman. Obviously, Wonder Woman's probably the best of all of them. And I have a feeling Shazam is going to be great. I think people are really going to like it.
I'm really excited about Shazam. I was from the first trailer because I was like, all right, how are they going to do this? Because Zachary Levi is not, big, buff, burly fighting dude. And they said, we know. He's a goof. So we cast him because we need a kid trapped in a man's body.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Zachary Levi. And when you look at it that way, you're like, of course. This makes absolute perfect sense.
And the thing is, with Suicide Squad, any kid you ask, they loved that movie.
Yeah, well, kids are stupid. What do you want?
But that's what I mean, though. Like, but I think there's something to that. There's a tons of movies that we watched as kids, we loved. Our parents were like, that is stupid, but our kids love it, so whatever. We're gonna take them to it. That's kind of like this. I think a lot of adults really didn't like Suicide Squad. You can see through it. And its problems and its pacing and all that other stuff, but that did not matter. Any kid I talked to, they loved Suicide Squad. They loved the Harley Quinn stuff. They loved the Joker stuff. Like, they didn't have any of the baggage of knowing everything that we know. You know what I mean?
No, they also don't have. They also don't have the critical thinking skills to look at this and go, none of this makes any sense whatsoever.
Sure. Yeah, but I mean, same did we when we saw Batman Forever. You know what I mean?
Yes, and then we go back and watch it now, and we go, "Oh my god, this movie is awful."
I love Batman Forever. Still, it's still you can look at it and go, "This is an awful movie, but it's fun." I like Batman Forever with Jim Carrey. It's so ridiculous.
Here's the thing: I'm not saying they're not fun, but they're awful. Yeah. There's a difference. Suicide Squad is not fun; it's just awful.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm coming around to it. I know that's terrible.
It is.
But I really I'm just seeing it through a different light, if that makes sense, that I did before. I'm not afraid to admit that. That's what I'm saying. Like I could just not say this at all on the podcast and not admit it at all, but I'm admitting it. Like I seeing what I did of Justice League, and it really made me think like maybe it wasn't as bad as I think everyone made it out to be. But
I do think that Justice League gets more hate than it deserves. I give you that. But by the same token, it's still not a great movie.
Right. I just don't think it was as bad as like Batman vs Superman was.
I agree.
That was long and boring. It didn't really have anything at all that caught me. But the Justice League, it had some fun in it, and I guess I could just see the kernels in that. Even in Suicide Squad, I think there's kernels of stuff in there that they had a good idea. The stuff that was terrible, obviously, like the Killer Croc stuff and all that was all just trash. but I'm curious to see what comes from it, like especially with the Birds of Prey movie, because with Harley Quinn in that, and
That
um,
that I'm excited for because that looks like it's going to take everything that was wrong with Suicide Squad and use that like that take it's going to flip all of that on its head
yes,
and say
yeah,
we get it, we hear you, and this is how we fix all that. That's what Birds of Prey looks like to me, and
right.
I am cautiously excited for that.
hmm And we have the Joker movie coming out that that looks amazing. We've only seen stills of that. We've only seen flashes of that.
Right, and that looks good in the other direction. It looks like they
Exactly.
said, "Hey, you know what the Joker is? The Joker is creepy as hell."
Do you
He's
think they'll do three Jokers in the DCU like they're doing in the comics?
no, because they've already suspended all of Jared Leto's Joker projects.
But he's still part of the DCU though.
I
His
think they're
Joker was still there.
yeah, I think that's the last we've ever seen or
They
heard of
just
him. I think they're just
got
going
you.
to ignore him from here on out. Like, "Oh, we don't know what you're talking about."
I love the idea that that was a Joker, but he was just imitating the real Joker,
I'm
and so he was a gangster that was like, "Hey, I'll just take on that persona."
Right. I'm okay with that. Here's a guy who was a crime boss and a SoundCloud rapper
Yeah,
and thought the Joker was
sure,
that was well, we haven't seen that clown for a while, so I'll just put on the makeup and be him,
exactly. Yeah,
I get
yeah.
that. And that's fine should they ever decide to retcon it that way,
hmm
whatever. As long as it leads to say like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, then putting a bullet in the head of Jared Leto's Joker, I'm fine with that. Like,
That would be great.
you
It's
know,
kind of what they did with Harley Quinn in the comics. They, you know, in that one, one I talked about, the White Knight one.
oh yeah,
Um,
where they did like Suicide Squad
yeah,
Harley Quinn as like a pretender. Yeah, fair enough.
yeah. I think that'd be fun. The bottom line is we're starting to really get some good DC movies, and I just want them to keep going. I don't even care how it's connected. Just produce good movies, and
Right.
I will continue to go see them.
Worry about making a good movie first.
Right.
Because even look at like the first Marvel set, look at phase
hmm
hell, you can look at everything up to the Avengers. They didn't really there's there's nothing that actually makes the Avengers. You know,
Right.
like everything there was the threads that connected them, started off as a joke that wasn't actually meant to mean anything. The scene with Nick Fury
Well,
was just
I mean, I gotta say, Kevin Feige,
he knew what he
he's a
was
big part of all that.
right, but that was never the plan. Like that was not intentional. Like even like everybody has gone on record talking about, the Nick Fury scene at the end of Iron Man. It was just kind of meant as a wink and a nod to comic book fans.
Right.
As like, hey, we get it. We know Iron Man's an Avenger. Isn't that cool? That's, and then, that caught on. But if you notice, like, the Incredible Hulk and Iron Man are vaguely connected. Again, a post-credit scene.
Right.
And Thor and Iron Man 2 are connected through Phil Coulson. They're all very inconsequential
Right.
connections that they then used to set up the Avengers, but they didn't have to be. It wasn't.
I think after Iron Man, but I mean, I think you're absolutely right. But I think you got to give them some credit, especially right after when Iron Man 1 hit. And they were like, and then they were like, we are doing Iron Man 2, we're doing Thor, we're doing Cap, and then that's when that's when they set everything in motion.
Right.
And that
They
was ballsy.
it was. It
It
absolutely
was
was.
insane.
And the problem was the thing that made it great was those movies stood alone and had no you didn't need they weren't
Right.
their purpose. Their primary purpose was not to set up something else. It was to be
Right.
their own movie. And that's something that by and large Marvel has done with every other movie.
Well, they kept reinventing it. They kept, okay, well, how
Yes.
do we get away from these three big guys? We'll throw Guardians in there, and then Ant-Man, and they made these different kind of films that, like, Ant-Man is nothing like those other movies.
Right.
Like I was talking to a friend who he's not into comic book movies, and he says Ant-Man's his favorite. You want to know why?
Because Paul Rudd.
Ant-Man 2, I'm sorry. Paul Rudd, exactly.
Yes,
his character in the movie was on house arrest. Like, it's just so different from any of the other superhero movies.
Yeah.
He was way more relatable as a human. Like, that's something that it is more possible for you to get on house arrest right now than anything that happens to any of those other characters in any of those Marvel movies. You know what I mean? That's something that could actually happen.
The first Ant-Man movie has the most relatable scene in any single superhero movie ever. And it's when he gets out of prison and he's saying, and he's like, how are you going to get a job? And he says, I've got a master's degree in electrical engineering. Hard cut to, hi, welcome to Baskin Robbins.
Yep. Exactly.
That is the single most relatable thing that has ever happened in any superhero movie ever.
Yep, and that's what made it so great. That's what made it so great. And that's what I'm saying. He's not like superhero movies. It's just not his thing.
Right.
But he loved that when he saw it. And I was like, that made sense to me. I'm like, absolutely. So like that, man. So and that's why I'm glad DC is making different kind of films. Shazam looks nothing like Aquaman. It looks nothing like Wonder Woman. Right. It looks like Big, but with a superhero twist. So like that's how you do it.
And that's exactly how you do it. If you were to do an elevator pitch for Shazam, it would be Big with superpowers.
Right.
It would be here's a juvenile delinquent with a good heart who gets superpowers that make him a grown up that give him a grown up body with superpowers, but he's still a kid. It's Big with superpowers with a kid who's in the foster system. Like there's your elevator pitch, and people listen to that and they either go, that sounds really dumb, or they go, well, hang on, tell me more.
Right.
And it's but DC. The problem with what DC was doing was after Man of Steel. I give Man of Steel a pass because I enjoyed Man of Steel. I liked Man of Steel, and I think off by itself, if that's just a Superman movie, it's not bad. It's genuinely not bad. But the problem was, like, when they said everything else moving forward was kind of working towards this bigger universe, and they tried to incorporate all of these things, and they lost, like, everything went towards this bigger purpose that means that nothing else had any identity of its own.
Right.
And that was the problem. And I think they fixed it with Wonder Woman because they were like, well, this takes place a long, long time ago, so of course it's not connected. Which allowed them the freedom to make its own movie. And it did really well. And, then they made Justice League. And, again, it's a 50-50 movie. And I agree with the idea that with Aquaman, you could see very clearly. They said what worked and what didn't. Well, what worked was Wonder Woman. Why? It was its own movie with its own tone and its own message and its own style. What didn't work? Batman vs. Superman. Why? Because all it was meant to be was a part one for Justice League.
Right.
And so it had no identity. It had nothing of its own.
Nope.
But so they gave Aquaman its own identity, its own look. They said, "Hey, we're going to do our own thing with it," and it works.
Yeah, and man, I can't wait. I want them to, man, I don't know when they would do it. I guess they would do it at the next Disney Expo, but I want to know the next phase. I want to know we got what kind of Doctor Strange movie we have in our hands, Black Panther. I want to know what movie Hulk's going to be in. I want to know if Thor is going to be in Guardians, that whole deal. And I want them to mix them up. You know what I mean? I think Ragnarok really, set a tone for what people want to see.
Yes, because
I want to see these characters mixed up.
Exactly, and because I loved what they did with Ragnarok, and I loved that they had the balls to bring in Taika Waititi, to do not and here's and I don't want to say it this way. They didn't bring in Taika to do a superhero movie. They went to Taika and said, "Hey, look, here's a Thor movie. Here are the characters that are involved. Here's kind of what we're thinking about doing with it. We've got a script. What do you think?" And you can tell he looked at it and he clearly had a vision, and they said, okay. And that's what was great about that little round table extra that they have on the Infinity War DVD,
Mm-hmm.
where he said exactly that. He said bringing me on was proof that they weren't looking for big names to do what they were told, but they didn't want people who could direct a superhero movie. They wanted people who had their own vision and their own style.
Right. If they continue Thor, I want him to jump on that. If they don't continue Thor, I would love if he would have did Doctor Strange.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Because within those few minutes we saw Doctor Strange, he was totally Doctor Strange.
Oh yes. Oh, absolutely.
And he killed every scene with the stuff he was doing. So I don't know, man. I want them to mix them up. I assume that's how they're going to bring the X-Men in. I think they're going to in this next phase they're going to tease them in and walk them in, and same with the Fantastic. I think I've been on that for a while now, that I think they've really been walking the Fantastic Four in with Spider-Man movies. We'll see if they're going to continue to do that. So yeah, man, I'm pumped. I can't wait. I want to fast forward a year from now to see what all these announcements are for both DC and Marvel.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. We got a bunch of movies to look forward to. Wonder Woman's out this year, right?
Next year.
It
was supposed to be out this year. It was going to be out like later this year, I think, like towards holiday, and instead they bumped it to summer next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like June something 2020 now.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah.
Yeah, that works for me. We got enough coming out this year.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's true. World War II Z2 shelved.
Yeah, done. It's not gonna happen. It should never have been a thing that they were discussing happening. I'm glad it's done and gone.
We got a Big Shark movie.
Man, god damn it. Anyway, so at one of the screenings of I guess it was one of these I don't know if it was The Room or The Disaster Artist or whichever one it was. Tommy Wiseau got up and played a brief teaser for his movie, which is Jaws in New Orleans. It's like he saw Sharknado and said, "I can do that," and everybody went, "Oh dear God, sweet Jesus, please help us all." So,
it makes sense.
No, it doesn't, which is why it makes sense. But okay, fine, whatever. All
right, let's get into some good news from TV.
Netflix canceled the last two Marvel series.
I said good news.
I just wanted to get that one out of the way because it's just, again, file this under duh news. Like we
saw this coming.
Yeah, Punisher is canceled. This season of Jessica Jones will be the last one. We knew this was coming. And everybody's like, and what this means for. We saw these articles already. We know what this is. We know why. We talked about this when they canceled everything else. Even before they canceled Daredevil, we knew this was all coming. And why? Because Disney is doing their own streaming service. Of course.
Well, apparently Netflix did not want to renew.
Netflix, that's the official. That's that. They really didn't want to do this because why would they have content on their service that would basically be an advertisement for a competitor's service?
I wanted to make that very clear because a lot of people have been saying, well, this is Disney's fault. Disney canceled. Disney did not cancel this.
No,
even
Netflix.
Jeff Loeb from Marvel came out and said this was Netflix not renewing their contract.
Right. And it makes sense for them to do it.
Right.
This from a if Netflix had Marvel stuff on their streaming service, it would remind people, a year from now, it would remind people that there is a Disney streaming service where there is more Marvel content.
Exactly. And this doesn't mean that, it's all up in the air at this point, It sucks. This is probably the end of those actors playing it, but you never know. Crazier things have happened. I mean, Yahoo picked up, wait, why did my mind just go blank?
Community,
yes, which I love. Never saw the Yahoo thing, but it's not unheard of that we might see these actors again. We're definitely going to see the characters again. And even Jeff Loeb was like, "This is not the end. This is to be continued with these characters. You will see them again." I think they would be smart if they did their own Defenders on either Hulu or or their own Disney Plus. I think Hulu would probably be the better option if they're going to go rated R.
I agree.
With some of these.
Yes, I think if you're going to keep the kind of tone and everything you're looking for, then it definitely needs to stay on the Hulu.
And there's some other news that we're going to talk about that made me think, well, I didn't think about that. They could totally put this on the Hulu, and keep it rated R. If they decided to go, we're hiring on the actors, we're hiring the people who made these shows, and we're going to move forward. I also wouldn't be upset if they just started over with a new Daredevil, a new Punisher. It would suck. I really got attached to those characters. There were some bad seasons though. It wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel as destroyed as if they like canceled Lost in the middle of the show. I would be devastated. And I'm sure a lot of people are devastated because they really got attached to these actors and these characters. Especially Daredevil. That last season of Daredevil was phenomenal. Same with the Punisher.
Yeah, they were so good.
First season of Jessica Jones, great. Second one, I don't know. I just only saw like half of it, and I was like, eh. So I don't know. I don't know what they do. I don't know if they continue with it.
I think what they do, they bring back Daredevil and they bring back Heroes for Hire. I think you go from there.
So you put like Punisher and Daredevil, you put the Heroes in Hire and the hero. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
I think you put. I don't know what you do with Punisher.
He definitely goes in Daredevil. Heroes for Hire could totally be Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist.
And here's the thing though. I think Heroes for Hire is definitely. I think Daredevil is definitely Daredevil. That maybe you bring in Punisher on occasion.
I mean, that's where
I think that's. I agree that if you're going to bring him
his own show, is that what you? Where do you put Punisher? I mean, he is kind of his own thing, but he's way more Daredevil than he is.
Yeah, he is. Let me say this: if you don't give him his own show and you have to bring him into one of these, he has to go into Daredevil. Yeah. I'd agreed. And same with Jessica Jones. I think Jessica Jones fits way more with Heroes for Hire than she does with Daredevil.
I think you do an anthology series, honestly, with a lot of this stuff. You do 3 or 4 episodes as one character, and then you do 3 or 4 episodes as another character, and then 3 or 4 episodes as another character. And then by the end of the season, you have all these different characters telling because honestly, the second season of The Punisher, the first 4 episodes are golden, and then when you get to New York, it's like, I don't want to see the Punisher eating cereal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I liked it because he's trying to just be a guy,
Yeah, but I don't want to see the Punisher. I don't want to see the Punisher being a guy on the couch.
I know, but and I think that was a fun part of contrast of like he knows what he is. He is perfectly at peace with who he is and what he does. So he understands how that would look to somebody who knows him. But
I guess I want to. That seemed like between the panel stuff, and I guess what I'm saying is, if you don't have room for all these people, you make it smaller, more bite-sized, but you pack a lot of stuff into those few episodes.
Right, but I think you have. I don't know if you have. I think that works with Punisher. I think it works with Jessica Jones, and I think if you and I think maybe it works for Heroes for Hire. But I really think you can do Daredevil by himself. I think that.
True, that's true. Think how comic runs are. Usually they're 5 to 6 episodes, or 5 to 6 issues.
Yeah, it may take
12 issues if it's a big thing.
Right, which will take 17, 18 months to come out, depending. But
right. So 4 to 5 issues, 4 to 5 episodes. I get what you're saying. You actually, I think, make more sense. I'm just trying to think of how they, get it all on one thing without blowing the bank.
Right. And here's the thing. There are, look at Luke Cage is a great example. That's the first season of Luke Cage is 2 completely different seasons almost.
Right. That's what I mean. Exactly.
And I completely agree. If you wanted to do just a 6-episode miniseries for each of the other 4 that aren't Daredevil, I think you can do 6 episodes of that and do 10 episodes of Daredevil, maybe 11. You don't have to do a full, 13, 14 episode run.
Right.
You can, but you do run a risk. I think there was enough. As much as I love the 3rd season, I loved 3rd season of Daredevil. Mm-hmm. I think there is enough in there to trim that you can cut down an entire episode worth.
Right.
I think it runs an episode potentially too long.
Right.
But I mean, that's, but again, that, I think with that, because you're invested as hell in those three characters.
Yeah.
And, maybe you tweak the story a little bit, and that one only gets 6 episodes. You can do it.
Right.
You absolutely can. But I think doing that, like, 6 episode chunks is the way to go.
Right.
I don't know how many episodes they're going to do with these animated series.
Yeah.
But...
Well, I hope at MegaCon we hear something, because Marvel just lost a ton of shows. That was their big thing on Netflix. So, in his message to people, he said to be continued. So I can't wait to see what happens.
We're gonna see and hear some stuff at Comic-Con this year. I have no question. I'm excited for most of what Hulu announced. I mean, they talked, like, we'll talk about this. They announced 4, not just animated Marvel series, but adult animated Marvel series. Because there's no other way to do these, really.
Right.
Especially, you're going to do a MODOK series, really?
Yep.
Written by Jordan Blum and Patton Oswalt. Yes, please. Sign me up day one.
I was shocked when they said MODOK instead of, what's his face? Oh, wait, never mind. Who's that other guy? The one of the X-Men. Never mind. Keep going.
I don't know who you're looking for.
With the spider legs, and he does a reality TV show. Spider robot legs. Okay. Am I not ringing any bells?
No.
Oh man, what's his name? Okay, sorry. Keep going. I'll figure it out.
You'll have to. I can't help you.
Yeah.
Hit Monkey, which is another bizarre pull. Written by Josh Gordon and Will Speck. The only one of these I'm not excited for is the Tigra and Dazzler show.
Mojo.
Okay, I don't know Mojo.
You know Mojo. If you saw him, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, I know that guy."
I'll look him up, but I'm probably gonna be like, "Oh, I saw him in a panel somewhere."
Yes, yeah.
The reason I'm not excited for Tigra and Dazzler, is because it's being co-written by Chelsea Handler.
Okay.
Not happy for that at all.
I don't know anything about it. I know she had her own show.
Yeah, she dated the boss at E, so she got her own talk show for a few years.
Oh.
And was just, by all accounts of most everybody, was a terrible person. Allegedly, for legal reasons.
Okay.
But, and...
Hey, we got MODOK as Patton Oswalt, so we can't complain.
Yeah, I'm here for that. Like, I'm excited about that above everything else.
Yeah. Man, I'm surprised Hit Monkey got a show.
Hit Monkey got a show, which is great. And of course they're going to do Howard the Duck. If you're going to do adult animated Marvel, you're going to do Howard the Duck, which is great. It's written by Dave Willis, who I don't know, and Kevin freaking Smith. Yes. I'm in. I am down. Give me this right now.
Are they going to put Jay and Silent Bob in the MCU?
No, but they might put Bluntman and Chronic in it.
That's true. That would be great.
Could you imagine? Just in a scene. I want people to
have him reading a Bluntman comic.
Exactly. It's up on the shelf. That's all I want to see. Just put a Bluntman and Chronic comic up on the shelf, and I'm good. That's it. That's all I need.
Yeah.
Make that canon. I'm done. I have no idea who Mojo is. No clue.
Oh, you've never seen Mojo?
No,
he was in the X-Men animated series and stuff.
Okay.
He's got like spider robot legs, and
I see it, but yeah,
it's a big fat dude.
Can't help you, man. Don't know him.
Yeah, he's creepy looking. He always looks so creepy with his eyes. But anyway, yeah, dude. When I saw this news, I was like, okay. I never thought about that with Hulu. Now, we've talked about how Disney owns a big part of it now, but we thought most of their stuff will be on the Disney Plus app, but it looks like maybe the Marvel stuff they might put on Hulu.
Yeah, how about that?
And that would be fantastic.
Well, I mean, we know that Marvel is going to have its own little spoke on the wheel.
Right.
Of the Disney Plus app. We know it's going to be National Geographic, Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars.
and it was the same day that I saw this stuff, that I saw the Jeff Loeb thing, where he was like, let me see if I can find the quote. He said, "On behalf of everyone at Marvel Television, we couldn't be more proud of our grateful audience. Our network partner may have decided they no longer want to continue telling the tales of these great characters, but you know Marvel better than that." And he said, as Matt Murdock's dad once said, the measure of a man is not how he gets knocked to the mat, but how he gits back up, to be continued. So I really think that that these Defenders, it's not done. I think that they're maybe they'll be recast or it'll be repackaged as something else, but I really do think that those characters will continue on as some sort of show on Hulu, and that maybe the ones on the Disney stuff is more towards the movies where you got the Loki and you got that stuff.
Agreed.
You know?
That's perfect. I'm okay with them not crossing over. I'm okay with a TV universe and a movie universe, and have the TV universe on Hulu.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm good with that. Yep. I'm good with that. That'll work.
Yeah. So I hope that Comic-Con or something like that, we get some sort of announcement, and that they hopefully keep some of the cast, because that was the one thing those Netflix shows nailed, was the cast. Even the writing, some of the writing on some of those seasons were the cast just embodied those characters.
Agreed. Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, and so same with the news about that. We got the Loki news. The Disney Plus series is going to get Michael Waldron from Rick and Morty as the showrunner.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Whatever.
People love Rick and Morty.
But we did gloss over that the 4 Hulu series will lead up to a big event.
Yes.
And it will be called Marvel's The Offenders.
That's perfect.
Which I'm like, because
this technically will be the first X-Men and Marvel crossover. Dazzler is an X-Men character.
Dazzler is also an Avenger.
Yeah, but she's more of an X-Men character.
Yeah, but she's also an Avenger.
No. She's not like...
I know. Dazzler started as a mutant and was only recently made liaison to the Avengers. I know.
I think this would officially make the first crossover for those two things since the whole Disney Fox stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is kind of interesting.
Well, but here's the thing, though. It's animated. So I think I don't know if maybe there's more leeway in that, because it's kind of like with Ultimate Spider-Man on Disney. Haven't they done some strange stuff over there too?
I think they still kept it like
just Marvel people, like the non X-Men people is what I'm looking for, I guess.
I think so, yeah, because it did have Nick Fury on it. You're absolutely right. Animations kind of was its own thing, because technically I think Marvel owned all of it for animation.
Yeah.
But they decided to keep it to what they wanted to sell their merchandise and stuff to. They wanted people to go see their movies. So they were very particular on, it's kind of like the games. Before everything that happened, when we got that Marvel vs. Capcom, 4, there's no X-Men characters in it.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do that, but they decided to do that because they wanted to put characters they wanted kids would recognize from their movies in it. Maybe that's how it's been with animation too, that they decided that, because when, the Avengers stuff, they canceled that one that was super good, the Avengers animated thing, and then they moved it and changed it to the one that was just like garbage, because it was just the characters from the Avengers movie. It wasn't all of them. But anyway.
I'm gonna, let me, okay, hang on, because this is gonna get me into trouble. There's one, there are a couple on Ultimate Spider-Man that kind of throw this,
but that was by Sony.
It was Marvel.
Right, but it was, I don't know.
But there again, but I mean, Ultimate Spider-Man had all of this, when you look at, you had Spider-Man and the Lizard and all those guys, but you also had Luke Cage, you had Amadeus Cho, you had Arcade, you had Iron Fist, you had Squirrel Girl, you had Nick Fury, you had Nova. I mean, this was a who's who. You had MODOK on Ultimate Spider-Man. I mean, they kind of threw everybody in here. They stayed away from. Oh no, you had Wolverine, so there you go.
Yeah, I guess animation doesn't count.
Yeah. So,
yeah, because I think on TV, Disney still owned the rights to all those.
Yeah, there is
characters.
a weird, because they've had pretty much everybody on Ultimate Spider-Man. Jeez, I need to go back and rewatch this. Because I saw, like, most of the first season. It was pretty good.
I didn't like it. I thought it was terrible.
They had Howard the Duck on here, too. So, what do you get there?
I don't know. I didn't like it. I did like the Avengers show that they were putting out at the same time.
That's true. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah. But where were we? Yeah. So Hulu's doing some things. That's exciting. We talked about the Loki. Nickelodeon.
Yeah, they're to coincide, I think, or maybe follow up with the Are You Afraid of the Dark movie that they have coming out later this year. They're doing a new mini-series for Are You Afraid of the Dark.
Cool. They should just bring that back.
I think it'll be. I imagine by now it'll probably be the kids of the kids from the original.
Mm-hmm. Right. I saw Topanga was going to be at MegaCon this year.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, like the whole cast, or it was Topanga I recognized. I didn't really see any of the other actors. I think Corey was the only one that was there.
Yeah.
That'd be cool to see them at MegaCon. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
This is a random old show. I was like, those characters are going to be there. Oh, that was cool.
But alongside that news, they also announced that they're doing that they're bringing back All That.
Hell yeah.
And that one of the executive producers will be Kenan Thompson.
Awesome.
Which is great because Kenan out of that whole cast, Kenan went on to SNL. All that was basically kids SNL.
Oh yeah.
So
very smart.
I'm down. This will be good. This will not be for us. We will probably not watch this and enjoy it, which is fine. This is not intended for us.
Yeah. No. Like I said, it'd be cool to see like my friends' kids watch stuff like that, where I can be like, oh, we can watch this now, and not the 100th time we've seen Captain Underpants season 2 on Netflix. Like, how did you? I guess they just added more seasons, and I'm like, oh my god, let's put something else on.
Yeah, well.
So we put on the Umbrella Academy, and they had their eyes open the whole time. They were, whoa! Because Umbrella Academy is crazy. It's not rated R or anything, but there are some scenes of like violence.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I watched Aliens and stuff when I was a kid, so it didn't. It was just exciting.
Yeah. It'll tide them over until the Baby Shark animated show that Netflix is doing.
Right. Exactly. Well, they're not babies. They're pretty. They're like 10, so they're fine.
Oh,
they can handle that kind of stuff. Yeah. Well, the other one's a little bit younger, but he's fine. I mean, but I want to see the new Deadpool movie with them, the one that's the kid version.
I still haven't seen that.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's cool. Nickelodeon's bringing back some shows. We got some Transformers news.
Yeah, speaking of animated stuff on Netflix, Hasbro's partnering with Rooster Teeth to do a new animated Transformers series on Netflix.
Crazy.
It's going to be called the title card reads Transformers War for Cybertron Trilogy.
Yeah.
Which is not how it's going to eventually be titled, I'm sure. But
it's crazy to see Rooster Teeth this big.
Yeah, right. No kidding.
Like, I know they've done animated stuff. Like they have like some anime out there that is legit and people love. But
yeah, but I mean, this is huge.
This is huge. Absolutely. Yeah, I think what is it? Is it RWBY?
Yeah, that's there. Yeah,
that's the anime that I see people go nuts over. So yeah, I mean, to get that license and to work with Netflix, man.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
God, is MegaCon doing like a Back to the Future retrospective or something this year?
They are. Michael J. Fox is going to be there.
The whole cast is going to be there.
Oh, really?
Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson, Tom Wilson, James Tolkien, all of them are going to be there.
Yep, it looks like it then. My buddy just sent me a thing and it had a few different names on it, so I didn't see the whole cast.
God, that's wild. And
Yeah.
and I think they are doing like a whole Boy Meets World retrospective too. Yeah, they're all gonna be there.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. Jeez. Have fun. Yeah, it's in May. Go, have fun, enjoy this. Tell me tell me how it is.
Right. You should come.
Yeah.
We'll go meet Pamela Anderson. I think she's gonna be there.
I'll tell you what. I'll go for if they're doing, because it looks like they may be doing a Smallville kind of panel too.
Yeah.
God, because they've got Kristen Krug, Tom Welling, and Michael Rosenbaum. I may have to show up for that.
Sutherland is gonna be there.
Yeah, Mike Coulter is gonna be
Jack
there.
Bauer quotes for my voicemail. This is Jack Bauer. Adam can't reach the phone right now. He's in distress. I don't know what he would say. Oh, you think he would do it?
I don't know.
I had the voice of Vegeta do mine a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Vegeta, me and Adam are off-world training or whatever he did. It's so cool. I wish I still had it. He can't take a list right now. He was totally cool about it, but he's also a voice actor.
Yeah.
And he was totally cool about it. And I knew he did that because I saw other videos on YouTube. And he was like, "No, I'm totally fine doing that. It takes 2 seconds."
Yeah, that's because like I'm the wrong person for anything like that because I would be way too like I don't want to upset somebody.
Oh yeah, no. If I see they're having like a bad attitude or they're not having a fun time, then yes, I would never ask that. Yeah. But when I saw the video online, I was like, he's talking about being totally cool about it. I might as well ask, what other chance do I have?
That's totally fair. Like even then, I might even be like, okay,
right.
maybe.
But Kiefer Sutherland, man, for that whole Jack Bauer, that would be great. Sean Astin's gonna be there. I just saw. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, he and David Harbour both gonna be there.
Yeah, I was really disappointed with the comic book because I thought maybe they would have a bunch of comic book people there, but I mean, there's a few of them that I'm interested in. Like I saw Neil Adams is gonna be there. That's kind of cool. But like the people that I really like aren't gonna be there. Like I want to meet Tom King.
Yeah.
You know.
I think for that you'll probably have to go to like New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
I
mean he does Florida Comic Cons.
Yeah, but I mean I think that in terms of like the big cons, because isn't New York really more the comic side of things?
Well, he was here last year.
Oh, really?
And he's like the one in Tampa. Like I looked at a few different other ones in Florida. He's all over the place in Florida. I think actually some of them. I think a lot of them actually live here in Florida.
Probably.
Yeah. Like Jimmy Palmiotti's brother, I'm friends with on Facebook. Like he was saying a lot of them live here in Florida. Because you think about it, they don't have to live in New York to be writers or the artists. They just send their stuff there.
Right. No, you can do that from anywhere. It helps, especially when you're getting started, to live up there.
Right.
But
like I've met what's his name? Oh, this is gonna bother me. It's gonna come back to me.
What have they written or drawn?
Scalped.
Oh hell. What? Jason Aaron?
Jason Aaron. Yeah. Jason Aaron. Yeah. Like I've met him before. I'm just, I want to meet some of the people that I just haven't met.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. I don't know. But anyway, when I looked in there, I was like, Neil Adams would be really cool. That would be a legend to meet.
True.
But I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, like it'd be cool to see like Brian Michael Bendis or something like that, Dan Slott.
Yeah.
Jim Lee. But anyway.
I was gonna say like that's definitely San Diego or New York material, but I remember, Rob Vendetti came to a comic shop.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Chase Aaron came to a comic shop.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think. There was, I don't know. My mind's going blank right now. Like Donnie Cates, for example, he'd be cool.
Yeah.
Chip Zdarsky would be really cool.
Oh, Chip Zdarsky would be cool.
He would be dope. there's a lot of them that I think would be really cool. But like Donny Cates especially, I think, because I've really, ever since I read The Cosmic Ghost Rider, I've loved his stuff.
Yeah.
Him and Jason Aaron are probably my two favorite right now at Marvel, but I don't know. Tom King would definitely be the one that I would want to meet, because the Mr. Miracle came out this week. You should definitely check it out, man. It's so good.
Yeah, the trade came out. Yeah,
it's so good. It's so good. I was telling my friend about it because he was like, "Well, tell me about Mr. Miracle." And I was like, I knew nothing about the character. Didn't know anything about him. I just knew that he was a new god. Blah 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 blah. I could see the just gloss go back. His eyes just gloss back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, his thing is he can escape anything. That's his ability. And the book opens up with him surviving suicide. And that sets the tone for the book. And he's like, whoa, totally caught me off guard.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I was like, that's what it's about. It's way more, Tom King makes the characters way more realistic, or not, you know what I mean? Like way more like relatable. And characters. Apparently a lot of people hated what he did with Mr. Miracle because it wasn't Mr. Miracle, but people who didn't know Mr. Miracle loved it. And so that's me, so I fall in that camp because I didn't really know anything about Mr. Miracle. But I could get that. If their character's completely changed and it's who you've read for years, but I think Mr. Miracle's kind of abstract. He's not, I don't know. He's been a part of DC Universe for a very long time, but he's not, he's not Barry Allen.
Right.
He's not Clark Kent. He's not Bruce Wayne. He's very off the radar. He's like Peter Quill, essentially. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry, I've been so distracted. It's been a very long day. But anyway, back to where we were talking about. Where were we? Whew. Yeah, so we talked about TV pretty much. We talked about the Netflix stuff. Okay, man, there was a ton of video game news this week. You want to start out? You want to talk about the Nintendo stuff?
Yeah, Nintendo had their Direct, and like I said earlier, a lot of this I'm not terribly interested in. But I get it. That's just me. It is, and we'll talk about some of that later, but I'm, they're arguably the biggest thing is something I'm very excited for. Yes. And it's a complete remake of Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening.
Mm-hmm.
And it is coming out this year.
Yes.
So, Nintendo pulling no punches.
Yes.
Nintendo just cranking them out, and
they opened the gate with Super Mario Maker 2.
Yes, coming out in June.
Mario Maker is one of the big things that people have been like, when are we going to get that on the Switch? It was fantastic on the 3DS, and people thought it was going to live and die there on the Wii U and 3DS, I should say. Yeah. Mostly the Wii U. People thought it was going to die there because of just you have to be able to interact with like a tablet, and of course, it's got touchscreen on the Switch, so that's perfect. You're going to make the sun in this. You're going to make everything in this. I'm so excited to see, because I never got to crack the first one because I didn't have a Wii U.
Yeah.
And by the time it came out on the 3DS, I already had the Switch. I wasn't going to buy that. I can't wait. And this is two different kind of people. You have the people who love creating it, and you have the people like me who love just playing it.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be me.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm excited to see what kind of crazy stuff people come up with, and you can just roll that dice and keep playing and playing all these different Mario levels. Literally just unbelievable amount of levels. But my favorite thing when the last one came out was watching Dan Reichert and Patrick Klepek, their war that they were having. Of course, Dan works for Giant Bomb and Patrick works for Vice. And it was fun to watch them every week go back and forth and create levels for each other and then watch the others play it and them try to trick it and them just banging their heads against the wall. And it was just hysterical. I can't wait to do that. I can't wait to make a level and be like, yo, Logan, play this. But I want to see what you do.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm excited. Yeah, so they had that. The Daemon Ex Machina, they showed the demo for that, or they released the demo for that. They dropped it that day. which was fantastic. I thought that was pretty cool. They only showed like a few seconds of Mortal Kombat, which I thought was lame. I want to see what it looks like on the Switch.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 7 they showed. They dropped 9 that day. So if you're a fan of Final Fantasy 9, they dropped it that day. Tetris 99, which was the Battle Royale Tetris game. You versus 99 other people. And it's crazy. It's a lot of fun. And it comes with your subscription. Astral Chain, which was, I forget which game that was. There's some of these that I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's Platinum Games.
How was the Platinum's game one?
Yeah.
They spent a lot of time on Fire Emblem Three Houses, which I'm pretty excited about. It's very Game of Thronesy. I played maybe 20 hours of the last Fire Emblem game, and I thought it was okay. The one where they released like 3 different versions. It was 3 different houses. This one, I don't know if it's 3 different games. I'm pretty sure it's not. The way they were making it look was that it was the same game. You weren't buying like Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue.
Right.
So I'm excited for that. So it's not split up. But it's, it's like it's the same style of game as that one that just came out. Oh man, my mind's just going blank right now. What is it? Groove War Groove?
Sure. I can't help you here, man.
It's like Advance Wars essentially. So if you liked Advance Wars games,
it's another one of those. Okay, yeah, like I know the kind of game you're talking about. Yeah.
Yes. Tiny Metal.
Yeah.
War Groove. That's the game. That's the one I got for the Switch, and I played it, and it's fun. War Groove's fun, and it's like $20. I think it's $14 or $20. So if you like Advance Wars, go get War Groove right now. You get a lead. You're a dog. Like you play a dog named Caesar in the outfit, Caesar's outfit.
Okay.
It's the best. It's really good. It's fun. I only played a few hours of it though, but it's exactly what that stuff is. Fire Emblem's just very anime with that, if that makes sense. It's a very anime story. Where War Groove is not. It's just fun. But anyway, they spent a ton of time on Fire Emblem. They also spent a ton of time on Dragon Quest. They showed Dragon Quest Builders 2, which looks really cool. I really enjoyed the first one on the Vita. It's like Minecraft, but with like Dragon Quest RPG stuff.
Yeah.
This is co-op. And yeah, if you like building stuff and doing all that Minecraft type stuff, but with like an actual story and the Dragon Quest stuff mixed into it, it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. I don't know if there's a demo out, but if there is a demo on the system, go check it out. And then of course they showed Dragon Quest. I think it's 11.
Yeah, I think that's where they are now.
Yes, and it's like the definitive edition because it has it where you can play it as in like the old school look or the new school, and you can like switch on the fly, like walking through the main world and stuff like that. But it's a beautiful game. I never played it for the PlayStation 4 because, of course, at the time I did not have one, so it's kind of perfect for me. So I'll be picking that up. Man, there was so many others. There's Grid Autosport. There was Unravel 2. They showed Assassin's Creed 3, which looked the worst of all the games that they showed.
Well, it's Assassin's Creed 3. Nobody, I promise you, nobody's asking for more Assassin's Creed 3. Nobody.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Tsum Tsum Festival, which is a Disney game. Okay. They showed Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order, which looks exactly how I thought it was going to look. It's like it's those Ultimate Alliance games.
Yeah.
But it's on the Switch. But that looked cool. It had a lot of Marvel characters, a lot of X-Men, a lot of Avengers, Captain Marvel they showed off, which was pretty dope. They showed Captain Toad Treasure Tracker plus a special episode, which I think is like Toadette or something like that. They didn't really have any Super Smash Brothers news. I thought that was kind of lame. They were like, and here we're going to talk about Super Smash Brothers. And just a little bit longer. so it was really stupid. It was like, you just have to wait a little bit longer. They showed Box Boy. Box Boy plus Box Girl, which is the sequel.
Oh, that was that was 3DS, wasn't it?
Yes, that was on the 3DS. I had that. That was pretty fun. It's a cool little puzzle game, puzzle platformer. They had Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night, which is basically a Castlevania. It's the guy who created Castlevania.
Didn't they isn't that like a sequel to some? Wasn't there another Bloodstained already?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, because there's one on Games for Gold this month.
Curse of the Moon?
Might be.
Yes. Curse of the Moon is the other one.
Okay. Yeah, and it's
that was last year.
Yeah, and it's one of the Games for Gold this month.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yoshi's Crafted World.
And didn't that get a demo? Yeah, didn't that get a demo too?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I think they might have released it.
No, it's not. It's not out already.
What did they show then? March 29th. I'm so sorry.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think they just released a demo.
Gotcha. Okay, I need to download that. They showed Starlink Battle for Atlantis, which is like the DLC. Rune Factory 4 Special, they showed, which looks awesome. Looks like Stardew Valley. And then they announced that Rune Factory 5 is going to come out. Rune Factory, I believe, is the company that came out of Harvest Moon. Sorry. They made the Harvest Moon games. And apparently the Harvest Moon games are now trash, but they went and made these games, and it's essentially that. It's the farming / romance kind of games or whatnot. Okay. So if that's your thing. Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I never played that on PlayStation, but it's coming to Switch. Deltarune is another game, it's kind of like the spiritual successor of Undertale. Apparently, it's a sequel to it essentially, or like a spin-off, I guess. So they showed that as well, and then of course they ended it with The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening.
Yeah,
which is a remake of the original, which was my favorite Zelda game for the longest time. I ate that up on the Game Boy Advance and regular Game Boy, but mostly the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks adorable. It looks awesome. What did you think of it?
I'm excited.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Reminds me of Rudolph and the Island of Misfit Toys.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought this was a great direct. Like they just one after another of games, just packed it full of games. I'm excited. This was the big thing, I think, before E3. E3, they're holding. This is all the stuff. And by the way, this is all coming out like before June. It seemed like most of it, a lot of it.
Yeah, you're not gonna hear about a lot of these things at E3. Like that direct is gonna be about the big titles. That's gonna be your Pokemon and Luigi's Mansion and whatever else.
Exactly. They were getting all this out of the way, so in E3, Pokemon and especially Animal Crossing will be their two big.
Yeah, that was the other one. I knew there was one. I was like, I'm missing one.
Yes. Yeah, they'll talk about, of course, Luigi Mansion. But yeah, the new Pokemon game and the Animal Crossing are going to be what their big time games at the show are going to be. It's basically going to be their Zelda and Mario this year.
Yeah.
And of course, we're getting Mario Maker 2 and it's a great time to own a Switch right now. I feel these kind of games are perfect for my style right now, where these aren't 100-hour. Oh, some of them actually are 100-hour RPGs. Like you could dive into Dragon Quest, I imagine, and these Final Fantasies, of course. But a lot of them are a lot smaller, like the Ultimate Alliance and the Toad game. And oh man, that's my favorite system out right now. I'm so excited to be playing more games on it. Yeah, I'm gonna download that demo tonight of the Yoshi's Crafted World. Yeah, where were we? Okay. So that was it for the games. I kind of talked about the stuff I wanted to talk about earlier about the Pokemon. That's been all over the news about those guys that created those channels and just how it's changed YouTube's thing. Dude, I saw okay, I want you to guess how much a sealed copy of Super Mario Brothers would sell for.
I know this because I saw this article.
Okay.
And I can't remember, but it was obscene.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
100,000.
That's right, because I looked at that and I thought, holy, wow, okay,
Crazy.
yeah. Like an original mint inbox, and I was like, what is this, Action Comics #1? Good God.
Yeah. Did we talk about the Blizzard layoffs since last time we spoke?
No.
Been
I
kind
know
of a
they
bummer.
did. Yeah, I know they did that, and it sucks. But
Yeah.
hopefully making room for some PC devs for the next Diablo game. I'm sorry, people lost their jobs. It's not funny.
It had nothing to do with Diablo. That's the crazy thing. They're excited about Diablo because they know that Diablo mobile game is going to make them a ton of money.
Yeah, because it will. It will.
It will. This is it. I think Ubisoft clapped back at them basically because they were like, "Hey, we had record numbers this year and we didn't lay off anybody." And that's what's crazy. That was so crazy. If you listen to the earning call, and I only heard a little bit of it or whatever they showed on a website, and they opened it up we had record numbers this year.
Yeah, Ubisoft. Look, man, Ubisoft.
I'm talking about Activision.
Oh yeah.
That's what was so crazy is they were the Call of Duty was the #1 game in the world last year. It was the most sold game, and they let a lot of that team go. That's insane.
I try to find some sense in Activision.
Activision cut people from the game who got the #1 sales.
Yep. I mean, that's Activision for you. This is Activision from a handful of years ago, back before, back when EA wasn't making a complete ass of themselves every other month. It was Activision.
And Jason Schreier, he was on Twitter talking about this is why they need a union. What other industry could you come up with the #1 selling thing that year and you're cut? What kind of job security is that? There's none. There's zero.
Yeah.
Literally zero.
Yep.
It's insane. It's insane. So I don't know. I don't know what needs to happen. I don't want to pretend like I do. I don't know that much about that side of the industry. But that's just ridiculous. And I love Blizzard. Blizzard's. I've talked about it. I've gushed over them a million times on the show. They make some of the best games, and it sucks that their people were let go. The Twitter was just, man, these people talking about this was my dream job. Did all of this great work, and for next week I have no job.
Yeah.
It sucks. And but that's why I think, I don't know. I think that I think it's clear that they need to unionize in that industry, so that can't happen.
I just because everybody's job is so different. How do you do that? I mean, I guess you have to look at the way that there are different unions on a film set, maybe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Because that's ridiculous, and what? That might mean the games are going to be more expensive. That might mean they might take longer. So be it.
I don't think so. I don't think so, actually. I think it means that things will be more streamlined. I think it means you'll have I think it means better quality because I don't think they'll be more expensive. They may take longer, but I think in the end you'll get better products because you won't have, who was it that was talking about, there are some employees that come in and work, 100-hour weeks. I can't remember what company that was, but this was just a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might have been Telltale. I don't want to say definitively, but I can't remember. But it wasn't, employees weren't saying we were forced to do this, but it was we came in and did this, and it was kind of expected,
Right.
And it's, we can't have that. That's.
Well, Jason Schreier put out a tweet today. He said, as frustrating as it is for players who have to run into Anthem's awful load screens and bugs, I imagine this is even more frustrating for BioWare's devs, who were required to launch an early version of this game, no matter how ready it was.
Exactly.
And this version is what's getting reviews right now.
Yeah, it's why I applaud the hell out of Nintendo for a couple of weeks ago when they looked at Metroid Prime 4 and said, you know what, we're sorry, we know this is disappointing to you, but this is not meeting our standards, so we have to go back to square one.
And if there's one thing Nintendo has, they have polish with their games.
Yes.
They usually don't put out turds.
No, they don't. If a game is bad, it's not bad because it's not finished.
Exactly.
It's just because it's bad.
Right.
Because sometimes they happen. You can't help it.
Sometimes it happens.
They can't all be winners. But
right.
But it's never it's not something they put out because, oh my god, we have to get this out, and it's not been tested, it's not been this, it's not been that. No, it's done. It's a finished product.
Right.
And I just, look at there's one phrase that makes me crazy. Day one patch.
Yeah.
Makes me crazy. That should not happen. It shouldn't. There is absolutely no reason under the sun that should be a thing. Everything, with these companies being as big as they are and technology being what it is, everything should be tested beyond the breaking point.
I agree. I get why it is, but it's used as a crutch.
It is. It's I know there will be people who come out in instances and argue this, but I will say this as a virtually blanket statement. It's an excuse.
Right.
It's an excuse to say, oh, we didn't test this enough to find this. Oh, we didn't have enough time to do this. And so instead of saying, you know what, next time we're going to take the time, they have, oh, this is broken, that we didn't know this was broken. But now that we know this is broken, we can fix it and we'll put out on this patch. And then people will find other things that are broken. And, I mean, for the love of God, look at the Assassin's Creed games for that stretch of a few years.
Right.
Where the glitches were horrifying.
Right.
There's no reason whatsoever that these games should be put out. And here's the thing. Look at the consumers. The consumers are telling you, look, stop giving us unfinished games. We will wait.
Right.
And they're telling you that even the casual consumer, even somebody who's not even as hardcore as we are, and there are people who are far more hardcore than us.
Oh, yeah.
The average gamer will wait. They will say, you know what, put this out when it's done. Give us a finished game. And they will wait. And then they will buy it. And then they will enjoy it more. And your revenue will go up. And your PR will go up. And you will bring in more people. And all of these things are positives.
Right.
Well, we put it out now and nobody will notice. That works. Right. That the problem is they get away with that for so long. It's a thing that people are not, people are still going to buy Anthem. Anthem is still going to sell like crazy. I guarantee you.
Right.
And it's going to have a giant day one patch. And people are going to go, oh, this sucks. They should stop doing that. And then they're going to forget all about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I'm completely on your side with that. Did you see that? Well, we'll find out next month on March 19th what Google is going to be doing with their video games.
Oh, are they doing a thing?
Yeah, it looks like Google's finally going to. Jason Schreier tweeted. Looks like Google's finally going to show off what it's been doing with all that money it's spending on video games. Everyone thinks it's going to be. That's what it's going to be about. Says all will be revealed at the Google keynote at 10 a.m. March 19, 2019. So that'd be cool. Okay. It's going to be in San Francisco.
Is that 10 a.m. Pacific or Eastern?
Pacific. Going to be Pacific, yeah.
Okay, so that's 11, 12, 1 o'clock our time.
Yeah. So we'll find out next month what they're doing. I imagine it's going to be like exactly what rumored Apple, rumored all these big companies is some sort of streaming type service.
Well, I mean, Google worked with. I tell you what, man, I was surprised that Project Stream. Like I had very very few problems with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I'm on Wi-Fi on a. What am I on? Like a 5-year-old? No, God, 7-year-old laptop now?
Yeah.
Jesus, is this thing that old? Hang on, I gotta check this. Is this really a 12? You're kidding me. I think it's a 12.
What year is it?
That's what I'm looking. Oh, that's right. That's not gonna. It won't give me any of the. Oh, nope, there it is. Yeah, it's a 12.
2012?
Yeah, this thing's a 7-year-old laptop, and there were rare frame rate drops. That was it. And by rare I mean once out of every dozen times I logged in, and they never lasted more than a few seconds. Yeah. For that, on a streaming service through Google Chrome, on a 7-year-old laptop, on Wi-Fi.
Yep.
That's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, it's gonna get a lot more games in a lot more people's hands.
Yeah, it absolutely will. So I think I think that'll be what they're going to talk about.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So that's gonna be cool. Can't wait to see that. Um, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. What other video game news do we got?
I that was really all that I could find.
Okay,
That was all that jumped out at me anyway. I'll say that.
okay. Some Hercules news.
Yeah, they're finally gonna be putting on the stage show that they talked about a while back.
Okay.
Uh, it's
Cool.
gonna be this summer. It's gonna be part of the same group that does Shakespeare in the Park.
Hmm.
So it's gonna be part of. It's not like an on Broadway show. I don't think it's the public theater.
Okay.
So good for them.
Cool. Yeah, Hercules is playing a big part in the Marvel Comics stuff right now. He's got his own. He's leading his own Avengers team. Oh, we didn't talk about that. Conan the Barbarian is in the Marvel Universe now,
Oh yeah, I saw something about that. Yeah.
and he's leading his own Avengers team as well, called like or Avengers Savage or Savage Avengers.
Sure, makes sense.
And it's got Wolverine, Venom, Elektra. That should be cool. Yeah, everything's getting ramped up for that big Thor crossover coming up. So like Avengers No Road Home is what's setting it off. I didn't talk about it this week, but I've talked about it a million times the last few weeks. I've been reading a ton of comics as well. What we're gonna do, because it was my goof up. I've been doing some new stuff with work, which thankfully I'm now settled in, and I have more than enough time now to kind of dive into this kind of stuff. But we're gonna do the My Hero Academia. We're gonna do the part one. Starting next week, we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah,
we're gonna dive into
for season
how many
two,
episodes did you want to do? The first
I think I
three,
did like the first.
three, four,
Okay,
six?
yeah, we can do that.
How many?
I did because I think I did 6,
Okay,
and I
so
think
we'll do the first 6 next week.
yeah, I think
We'll
that
dive
puts
into
us at a good place to start because I
yeah.
want us to end it because at the end of round 1 of the tournament,
Yes.
I think is a good stopping place.
Perfect. Yeah. And see, the thing is, I've watched this, but it was before, and I wanted to get a fresh, like, I want to do it like a day or two before we talk about it, so it's fresh in my head, and we can just really dive into it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch some other stuff. I'm gonna finish Umbrella Academy, and dude, the reviews for this Russian doll show is apparently super good.
Like IGN gave it a 10.
10. Yeah. So I want to dive into some other stuff. The whole Groundhog Day thing is interesting to me.
Yeah, Happy Death Day was good. You should definitely watch it.
I want to see that too. Yeah. So
I started watching, and I literally mean started. I watched like 5 minutes of the first episode because some of the guys at the theater I work at are obsessed with a Hulu show called Letterkenny.
it's people. Okay. So I've started something new at work, and been working with some new people, and they were talking about that. It's apparently like
it's Canadian comedy. It looks to me like just
Trailer Park Boys.
Yes, it does. It kind of seems like Canadian Trailer Park Boys, where it's like
they called them like something rednecks, but it was like some place in Canada.
Yeah.
That's the way they were describing the people that were telling me about it.
And I'm like 5 minutes in, and I'm like, I don't know if this is gonna be for me.
It's called
Letterkenny. It's all one word. It's
Letterkenny.
It's the main character's name. It's Letterkenny.
Gotcha.
I think that you'll enjoy it because you like,
Oh, I love Trailer Park
Yeah,
Boys.
so I think you will enjoy this. I don't like. I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna give it a fair shake. But
Talk about the jail for vacation, like it's a summer camp. Jail's great this time of year. It's so stupid. Sorry. Trailer Park Boys is hilarious. So if it was anything like that, I like it.
There you go.
Yeah, that kind of humor I get. I love. I love just dumb comedy like that. Oh yeah, I'm looking at the stills of this. That's funny. Oh yeah, I want to see. Oh yeah, the first thing that says is Trailer Park Boys versus Letterkenny. Like people want them to do a crossover.
Oh boy,
I could see that. Get the what are those? What's the Comedy Central show about the slackers?
The IT Crowd?
Not
No.
the IT Crowd. The one with Adam Devine and them in it. Those three guys. Workaholics.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, get them in there with them. Oh, Jay Burchall joins the cast of them. I recognize him. He's from Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah, that's cool. He was in
He's in all those whatever shows.
Yeah. Well, he's the lead in How to Train Your Dragon.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I definitely got to check that out. Do we have a Hulu subscription? I forget.
I know we did at one point.
I don't know if I subbed. I think I did. I got to look at my emails. I have like 3 different emails, and one of them hit the other day because it hit my bank account.
Yeah.
I just got to figure out which one it is. Because that's one of the ones that I don't typically watch is Hulu. I usually watch the Amazon and Netflix.
Yeah, that's really all I watch. So I never would have heard about this, but like that was going around, and like these two guys they were doing all the references to each other, and I was like, I could not be any more lost. They're like, you need to watch this, and then I started, and I was like, this. I couldn't remember Trailer Park Boys, but now that I'm hearing this, I'm like, this is this but Canadian, and
Trailer Park Boys is Canadian.
Trailer Park Boys is Canadian?
100% Canadian.
Then okay.
It's a big part of the show how they're in Canada.
See, this tells you how much I paid attention to Trailer Park Boys.
Oh man, Trailer Park Boys, you have to watch a little bit of it though. Like the first few episodes are kind of like, ugh.
Yeah.
But it's basic. I mean, it's shot like The Office, where like they know the camera's there, they're very much aware of it, and their whole point is they want to do as little work. What's funny is they do all this work just to make a little bit of money, and it's all scams. They're just scheming, and if they would have just take that work and put it towards like a legitimate job, they would be great. But they can't do that. They have to do all this illegal stuff. There's a whole scene where one of the guys in Trailer Park Boys, he's like trying to install one little thing in the bathroom, and he ends up just tearing everything apart in that trailer, like as a terrible electrician. It's so funny. And then of course, one of the actors died from Trailer Park Boys. He passed away, and he was really great. And he was probably the best guy on the show. I don't know. That show's been on forever, hasn't it?
I think, because it's still going, isn't it?
It's been going since 2001.
Yeah, but there was a hiatus. There's at least like one hiatus, I remember.
Yeah, I think maybe there was some years where they weren't on it. John Dunsworth was who passed away. He played Jim Leahy in Trailer Park Boys, and he was the alcoholic, constantly drunk. If you've been on the internet in the last few years, you've seen GIFs of these guys. Oh man, it's just so good. And if it's anything like that kind of comedy that I guess is super popular in Canada now, oh, I'm gonna love it.
Okay, so apparently there was a 1999 film called Trailer Park Boys. And then there was the show.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was Trailer Park Boys the movie in 2006.
Oh yeah, there's been a few of them.
Countdown to Liquor Day in 2009 and Don't Legalize It in 2014.
Yeah.
And it looks like it ran from 01 to 07 and then it started back up again in 2014.
Okay, so there was a big gap.
There was a big gap.
Yes, Netflix now picked it up.
Yes.
So it's on Netflix.
Yeah, it was on Showcase at first, which is Canadian, obviously.
Yeah.
And then Netflix. Okay, sure, whatever.
I mean, they did an episode. They did a season with Snoop Dogg. They did a season with what's that guy that Roseanne married?
Oh, Tom Arnold.
Tom Arnold's in a season.
Like skinny little, like caffeine amped looking dude.
Oh, he's on coke the whole time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just how he is. Like,
and he plays his character to like amped up to like 11 in the show, and his whole character is himself. He heard about, because the show is about a show, you know, and he's like, "Oh, I heard about you guys. I watched all your episodes. I want to party with you." Like, he's Tom Arnold.
Nice.
In the show.
Very cool. Yeah, Tom, to be fair, is in on the joke about Tom Arnold.
Oh yeah, yeah. He wanted in on it. He's like, and that's what the whole season is. They get the idea that people really like them, and that they would pay to just hang out with them in the park, and so they charge Tom Arnold like thousands of dollars just to get in trouble with them, essentially. And it works. It really worked that whole season. They're just constantly coming up with just ridiculous schemes, and Ricky's the best. He's the funniest guy on it. But it's just the and I don't know. It's just really good. It's so good. Yeah. But anyway, I think that's it for the show.
Yeah, I think I'll do it.
Yeah, we'll be back next week. Make sure you go to our YouTube channel, We Geek Podcast, our Twitter at We Geek Podcast, at The Logan Witt, at Adam Estep. Make sure you go to, we already said the YouTube. Make sure you go to our Spotify. Email us at wegeekpodcast@gmail.com. Give us a review on the Apple Podcast, the Google Podcast. And we'll be back next week. Captain?
Captain.